I caught my husband cheating, but he said it isn't real cheating. Should I leave him? And this is OKOP, where we tell the craziest true stories on earth. I'm John and Sam. Should they leave him?
I want to know what this real cheating he thinks exists is. I bet you it's some emotional cheating, and I think let's drop this relationship either way, but there's only one way to find out.
Spill that tea! My husband and I, both 35, have been together for 7 years and married for 5. He has 2 older brothers that he isn't particularly close with. The one person he is very close with is his cousin, Aaron.
Oh, please tell me it's not one of those stories, John. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
Get mad at Riley, not at me. He's the one that picks them. I just read them. They lived together after my husband graduated college. He was even the best man at our wedding. And Aaron even lived with us for a year while we were married so he could finish school.
Okay, so they're very close. Almost like brothers, like best friend, brothers, cousins.
Yeah, really close.
Stop, John.
Really
the people
close.
Don't want it.
I like Aaron a lot. He has felt like a brother-in-law to me, much more than my actual in-laws have ever felt. My husband and I have had a rough 3 years. Between COVID, there was a point where both of our fathers were in terrible health. We've dealt with infertility issues, and sadly, in July, we had a stillbirth at 34 weeks pregnant.
Dang, that's almost about to pop too. That's rough.
Awful. And Aaron has been there for us through all of that. He is probably the person my husband can lean on the most for support.
That's awesome.
Last night, I get a call from Aaron's longtime girlfriend, Jennifer. She asked if it was okay if she come over and have some girl talk with me. Jennifer and Aaron have been together as long as my husband and I have, so 7 years. She has 3 kids from a previous relationship and we love them. They spent the night at our house and her oldest kid dog sat for us. She comes over and proceeds to tell me a serious problem that she has had with Aaron.
Cheating. It's got to be cheating.
And she is at a loss of what to do.
It's got to be cheating.
The main crux of the issues here are Aaron is in an insane amount of debt. And he basically used her as a place to crash for 7 years. He is constantly criticizing her for parenting, saying she babies her teenage children.
Wait, why is he in debt? That's what I want to know.
That is the real question.
And also, who is he to say, oh, you're parenting your children wrong, where he can't even figure out his own spending? Man's life is in shambles.
Hey, listen, you should do a better job on them than you're doing on me, babe.
Honestly, OP needs to parent this guy.
Parent me better, babe.
Be my mommy.
And finally, lying about where he's going. And his locations have him at a massage place that does happy endings.
Oh man, is going broke, getting tugged
out of all his cash.
They're tugging away those $100 bills.
I hate to say that the financial issues and the parenting issues I vaguely already knew about. Even my husband and I have called Aaron out about how he talks about the teenagers, but I had no idea how bad it was.
It kind of feels like maybe he has a little bit of resentment to the 3 kids from the previous marriage.
I mean, that would make a ton of sense.
What, you think it's good to have resentment?
No.
3 kids from a previous marriage? What the fuck, John?
Stop.
Dude, you'd be a terrible stepdad. I can't believe you would do that.
Hold the presses.
Damn, bro. John thinks it's good to resent stepchildren.
You know what? Yeah, I hate them. Sue me. It's super unhealthy, but I see the logic behind why people would do that.
You see the logic of like why someone would hate their stepchildren?
Yes, I do. We talked through it, and I flat out asked her if he is going to a massage parlor and getting a happy ending behind your back, would you still stay with him? And she said yes.
Knew it.
Good call.
There is some like people like also in like Chinese culture, I think we talked about this in another episode, that like it's not a big of deal if like their husbands go to prostitutes, but it is if they're going like with a laywoman.
Right, like if they're like having like a whole another full relationship.
Yeah, because then there's like those are emotional ties, and the emotional cheating is what's the worst. It's not actually the physical cheating.
So you're saying it's totally okay for guys in relationships to go to these parlors?
If that's in your relationship contract, then yeah.
We're leaning in today, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack and mate.
I gave her some advice about boundaries and talking to him, and I left it at that. After she left, I went upstairs and told my husband what she said. he proceeds to have a complete breakdown. He is in tears. I finally get him to talk, and he starts saying things like, can I just have one person in my life that I can trust? I can't go to my brothers to talk, and now I can't trust Aaron because I know he's been doing this crap. He's effing better than this. This just completely and utterly destroyed. I feel terrible. I didn't think about it when I told him what Jennifer said. I didn't even think that it could ruin their relationship. Aaron is the only person he goes to for advice and really looks up to as a big brother.
So OP's husband is like, oh, I thought he was a stand-up guy, and now he knows that he's not.
Exactly. And I just completely destroyed that image. I'm going with the classic pretend it didn't happen technique this morning.
That's not a good technique.
Classic.
We don't like that technique.
Old Faithful. Ignore the problem.
I hope it goes away.
Woo! But I just feel like I completely took away a family member who felt completely comfortable turning to for emotional support. The F did I do? And we have an update, but we got to take a little pit stop right here and talk about it.
The real question here is, does OP's husband want this information? Is he happy to, I mean, he might not be happy that he knows it,
right,
but would he be comfortable and okay not knowing it? Like there's a reason that he feels like he doesn't want to go to this guy anymore, because now he knows the truth of this person's moral integrity. And so, yes, it does suck, but maybe this is the truth that he needed.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I think maybe ask, your husband that, like, do you wish I didn't tell you?
I wonder what advice he's given to him over the year, because it seems like he would constantly go to him for advice.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know you're really stressed, man. I know this place you can go to relieve
Perfect
all
solution.
your stress.
Yeah.
You just really need to expel some stuff,
Yeah. Just get
a
out
massage.
Just get
I know the best massage place.
It's 5 stars.
5 stars.
It's the best. Yowza. Thank you everyone for your kind words and your jokes. It certainly helped calm down my spiraling brain. Now, I don't have much of an update on Jennifer and Aaron, other than they are broken up.
Oh,
quote unquote.
That is what do you mean? I don't have much of an update, except like the biggest update of
possible.
all time. Come
Golly. But my husband and I have heard that a time or 20, and I don't really buy it.
Oh, like that they have been broken up. That's a little bit of a red flag. They've been broken up 20 times, and it's news to you that they're breaking up and having relationship problems now?
He gives such great advice. He's such a great guy.
And they've been on and off 20 times?
It's okay. It's cool. It's chill.
It feels like a red flag. Put in the comments if you thought you saw a red flag just now, because I did.
Give it to us. I will go ahead and give some clarification on some common questions. Why do you think you effed up? Honestly, because of my husband's reaction. The minute I realized he was breaking down and crying, in my head, I was thinking, crap, I effed up.
Yeah.
I just feel so horrible that it made him upset. And I know it wasn't me. It was what Aaron did that upset him. Yeah, you're the messenger. No one's trying to shoot you. But maybe it's the former Catholic in me. I am programmed to look inward for blame. LOL. Is Aaron your husband's only friend? No, we actually have a great group of friends who are very much our chosen family to us.
Fuck Aaron then.
Yeah, get him out of here. Aaron is his cousin and the only family member that he's really close to. We have a good relationship with his parents and siblings, but they've never been close. He's also the youngest of all the grandkids. His cousins are all at least 5 years older than him, so there was never anyone in his family he was close with growing up. He and Aaron got closer in college, and it felt like he finally had that it felt like he finally had that person who understood their family that he could confide in. Why aren't you in therapy? Question mark.
I mean, yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, don't you worry. We are all in therapy.
Oh yeah, we're a deep therapy.
There we go. When our baby died, we got into group therapy, couples therapy, and individual therapy. Our couples therapist has been trying to get us to focus on things to look forward to again. Simple things like going out to dinner, going on a trip, etc. We are unfortunately in a really negative headspace these days, which I think is the other reason that he had such a big reaction. Now another tiny update, which given OP's history of making updates, this is a pretty big update. I have almost nothing update. The relationship is over. My husband and I both work from home. I tried my hardest to avoid the subject about Aaron and Jennifer. Then, while I was in the shower, he came in the bathroom and said, "By the way, yes, I am still pissed about Aaron. We went out to dinner last night. I did apologize to him."
What? All right, put in the comments if you think that OP should have apologized. I don't think so.
Hold on. This is a red flag for OP's husband. Not exactly, I'm sorry I told you. More like,
Good.
I'm sorry that happened. Okay.
I feel like low-key we're getting better at relationships.
We and relationships and predicting these stories.
Dude, we're
like,
so good.
Our brains are a Reddit story predicting algorithm
I
at
feel
this
like
point.
I'm a better therapist than most therapists.
He said, you have absolutely nothing to apologize for. I'm just pissed off at Aaron. Paranoid me said, are you sure you're not mad at me at all? My husband said, I am about 1% mad at you because you probably shouldn't have told me after I ate my gummies.
Oh, she was doing weed gummies. Yeah,
He took weed gummies at night to sleep.
Yeah, fair.
Yes. I guess he had already taken a few by the time I came upstairs.
Fair,
Which
fair.
man was probably gone.
Yeah,
at
dude,
that
a
point.
few gummies, like you're
So
song.
I take an eighth of one single gummy, bro.
Dude, how strong are your gummies?
Oh, like 10 milligrams.
Oh,
like
10 millis?
Nothing.
That's not much.
I take a quarter.
10 is a lot still.
Yeah. Oh. I did tell him that there were more crappy things that Aaron has done that I didn't get a chance to tell him because he was so upset.
Ooh, there's more worms in the cans.
Do we spill it now?
Bro, I mean, you spill one teapot, you might as well like be the bull in the china shop. Just freaking
Break
smash
it all.
everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything to pieces. I asked him if he wants to know that stuff, which is smart.
Good.
Ask him if he wants to know.
But come, it's like, oh, I shouldn't tell you. It's like, bitch, tell me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Now I wanna know.
I know there's something to be told. I want to know.
To which he said, no, not now, maybe another night.
Okay.
So he don't want to.
Restraint.
He don't want
Restraint
to
on
He don't
both
want to
ends.
yet. We enjoyed our steaks and chilled for the evening. I don't know what is going to happen moving forward. He is very insistent that he is not going to reach out to Aaron. And Aaron still has no idea that Jennifer talked to us or that my husband knows all the crap that Aaron has done.
I feel like the husband should talk to Aaron. Give him a
Yeah.
chance. Give him a chance. Or right now we're all in hearsay land.
Like, and I also kind of just want to see what he has to say. Even if you like don't even going necessarily giving him a chance, like
But right now, we are completely operating on a one-sided story.
yeah, facts.
And it's all she said.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the he said?
No,
There's no he said.
zero.
But we don't even know what the other side is doing. This is just one side. I feel like it would be a good idea. Like, I believe what is being said.
Right.
However, I do think it's a good idea to talk to Aaron to hear his side.
So you're saying don't believe women. Sam 2023.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were
I was cooking. I was
fucking knew
cooking.
it.
I was building
I
up
knew
to
that
it.
was going to be hit with me. Oh, God.
This is the episode of Quotes, ladies and
This
gentlemen.
is the episode of us both getting canceled.
All right. So, comment your favorite quote of the episode in the comments below.
And who said it?
Yeah, and who said it? To be
And the
clear.
people who aren't fans are just going to be like, these fucking
These guys are terrible.
podcasters.
Aaron still has no idea Jennifer talked to us or that my husband knows all the crap Aaron has done. Maybe he will wake up tomorrow in a different timeline where no bad things ever happen. We can all dream, right? And now we're getting into some relevant comments. First one from JP.
Oh, these are some thick, relevant comments. I cheated. I looked ahead. These are some thick, relevant comments.
Well, this one's from JPW Rana. But first, do we want to do any breakdowns?
I feel like we've broken down sufficiently
We
throughout.
have broken down the whole thing.
Yeah, but I'm down to keep going.
So let's get into it. You did not mess up. In fact, you did a very good thing. One, being honest with your spouse. And two, not delaying in telling your spouse. Is there a reason your husband can't make new friends? Dang.
Damn.
I mean, we don't even know
Is there a reason
that.
your husband's such a loser?
Yeah. Do you think your husband will ever not be a friendless dork?
Wait, but I thought he had friends. I thought like that's what OP says. Like, oh yeah, he has friends. It's just his cousins is like one of his closest.
That's what I'm saying. Is this comment? I feel like this comment is extrapolating
Yeah,
like
a little
pretty
too
far.
much. Well, let's keep seeing what happens.
I used to be an introvert, but learned to be an extrovert. So I know it's easier and less effort to get to know other people. OP, we have a great group of friends that we absolutely love. My husband doesn't really have anyone in his family that he is close to. I think Aaron made him feel still connected to his family. While we have a cordial relationship with his parents and siblings, he never had a sibling bond. One of his brothers is an addict and the other is a born-again Christian. So he doesn't feel comfortable talking about the difficult stuff with them, but he could with Aaron, and Aaron knows what their families are like. Yeah, it's just someone that I feel like you could be like real with, and
you have like a connection that goes all the way back. Like I feel like that with like Christian. Like I've known Christian since I was 5. I can pull on basically every memory that I've ever had with him, you know?
Have you confronted him about his happy endings?
I haven't yet, dude, but I really should. We gotta have Christian on the show, bro. He has some crazy stories.
Really?
Yeah.
The next comment comes from Arm the Phototonic Cannon. Does he not trust you? OP. He was more referring to his immediate family in that moment.
Yeah.
His brothers, his dad, his cousins. Unfortunately, there is a lot of drama in his family. Aaron is the only family member he's really close to. Solo is Dead says, my issue is, did she think she was telling you this in confidence? If so, maybe you weren't supposed to share this information with your husband. A lot of people have been asking me why I told my husband, so I will just clarify. Basically, Jennifer called me and asked if she could come over and chat with us about Aaron. She specifically said she wanted to talk with someone who knows Aaron well. She alluded to the relationship issues, and the fact that she wanted to come over on a random workday unprompted is odd. I had a bad feeling Aaron had done something crap. I got off the phone and told my husband Jennifer was coming over. He had the same thought I did. They've had an on and off relationship for years, so I was hoping and praying it was just something stupid. My husband then asked me if he should be a part of the conversation. I said no, that maybe it would be better if it was just the girls.
Yeah, smart.
When Jennifer got there, she asked if my husband was going to chat with us in a should we wait for him kind of way. So at the end of conversation, it wasn't weird for me to go up and tell him what we had talked about. When he came upstairs, he said, well, what is it? To which I said, it's cheating. It really felt to me Jennifer wanted both of us in the conversation, especially since my husband and Aaron were so close. I may have been wrong, but I was trying to give her the space to be open. What do we think about that decision?
I mean, I think it would have been slightly better if it was explicitly asked, but I do think the implicit thought, like the implication, a married couple, unless you explicitly say, do not tell your partner, that is shared.
Also, like with OP's context, assuming that like she's accurately describing it, it seems like Jennifer was totally open to Aaron being there in the first place.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But
So-
I could see maybe that not being true, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it does seem like that. On to the update. After Jennifer confided in me, my husband had this meltdown and I panic typed on Reddit. I sat on everything Jennifer told me for a few days. At the end of the day, she told me she didn't want to break up, and I can't tell her to break up with someone. And my husband, while all pissed, hasn't revealed to Aaron we all know the crap that he has done.
Dang. So the only person out of the loop is Aaron.
Yikes.
He's too busy like getting happy endings to be involved.
And he's still happy, dude.
Yeah, he's still happy, man. He's
he's
fucking bopping around being like,
living in his wonderland.
Yeah, dude.
But I realized her self-esteem must be low, lower than Aaron's tank. That was me, not OP.
Wait, no, OP said that?
No, I said that. That she is willing to stay with someone that treats her like crap. So I had my mission. Build up Jennifer's self-esteem so that she will break up with Aaron on her own.
That is a cute idea. Like, I'm just going to make you feel so good about yourself that you couldn't possibly stay with him.
But I do have some news.
They broke up. They got to break up. That, right?
It works. I sent Jennifer these 2 books someone recommended about loving yourself. I am not a very crunchy person, but Jennifer is. The books were a little too inner godness and Mother Gaia for me, but both books are women talking about experiencing abuse and rising above it to become career woman. It reminded me of Jennifer crying to me and saying, I feel like all I do is support his dreams. When is it my turn?
Facts. Preach.
Big facts. Which broke my heart when she said that. So I sent her the books and wrote her a note saying that I loved her and I wanted her to realize how amazing she is.
That is a good friend.
That is a great friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you can't ever tell someone to break up with their partner. You can't. But you can support them.
Yeah.
I think you can support them.
I mean, you can.
You can. I feel like very rarely is it a good idea.
Yeah. Unless they're maybe like, tell me what to do. Like, tell me.
But that I don't think that's healthy either, because then you're deciding their life for them. I think what you can do is you can like, and also you never have the full context of a relationship ever.
But what about playing God and destroying people's lives?
That's true. I want to smite those ants.
Yeah. What about destruction? After that, she kicked Aaron out of the bedroom and made him sleep in in a separate room in her house. She told him that if he wanted to continue their relationship, and since he refused to prove he wasn't at a massage parlor, she asked to see his bill statements for that day and he would not show her. If he wanted back in her bed, then he needed to agree to couples counseling, which of course he didn't want to do. He kept begging to sleep back in the bed with her. When she told me, I commended her for putting up a good boundary and encouraged her to stick to it.
I can't believe the bar is so low that she's just like, stop getting happy endings. And he's like, nah.
Babes, do you want me relaxed and
do you not want me to be happy?
Are you trying to steal my happiness? Are you a happiness thief?
I think that is what Aaron just sounds like more of like a cuck bag since like throughout this pod.
Yeah, he's not the one. He's not the one. A couple of weeks ago, Aaron and Jennifer came into town and met us for lunch. My husband and Aaron went out, and Jennifer and I went out alone. I feel like put ICU in the comments.
If you know what's coming.
Jennifer was commenting about them having issues, but she still won't let him back in her bed. Basically, he started doing petty crap like changing all the passwords to their streaming services. Wow, that's the way to get your relationship back on the right tracks, buddy.
Dude, has no one heard of 1-2-3 movies?
The goats.
The goats.
The absolute goats. Popcorn time? Crazy. We need to get sponsored by them.
Yeah.
But then he made a romantic dinner for her the next night.
But it's not about the grand gestures. It's about the small moments, you know?
But he put the rose petals. He said, baby, I love you.
Dude, he probably just took those rose petals from the massage parlor.
Exactly, dude. It was cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper.
I wanted to save money. Babe, I'm trying to save money for you out here.
You never guess where I got these essential oils. Why do you think I'm smelling so good?
They were real essential for me. I started putting the bug in her head that Aaron needed to move out. I carefully worded it and just said, it doesn't mean you have to break up, but he needs to get out of your house. Then I sent her a podcast episode.
This one?
About a woman leaving her cheating ex. Not as subtle, but I thought I could push a little here. Last night, we got the call. Aaron called my husband and said, Jennifer and I broke up.
Yes.
It's permanent this time.
Yes. We've been waiting for this moment.
Then Jennifer texted me saying that she wanted to get back down. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. I was about to be, dude, you're rubbing and tugging me in all the wrong ways.
Right? Pulling you to and fro. Then Jennifer texted saying that Aaron was officially kicked out and he is living with a friend. They had a big blowout because they share a music account and he deleted all of her playlists. So petty.
Dude, that's petty as fuck.
So petty. She even left the house and had her brother and mother stay while he got all of his stuff. He, of course, had to be petty on his way out and took all her remotes. This guy sucked.
The red flags have been endless since we started. Just endless and endless and endless.
How did we get, they were literally like, Aaron is the greatest guy ever. Like my husband's best friend.
I know. That's what's crazy is they thought he was so good and like just the lies are unfolding and like it's like a shit flavored onion. Just
Truly.
Like the layers and layers you dig deeper, the shittier and shittier he is.
Aaron is like an onion.
He makes me cry.
I told my husband and he immediately overnighted her new remotes and new streaming services for her to use.
Oh, that's nice.
They still have their finances tangled up a bit, but hopefully she can get that undone quickly. She appreciated that my husband and I support her even though we are Aaron's family. She's really hoping my husband can help Aaron get his crap together. Unfortunately, I think my husband is really done with Aaron. We've been going through our own grief counseling and issues with my family, and he just doesn't have room for Aaron's BS.
Yeah, Aaron seems like a little bit too much drama.
Right? He told me what disappoints him the most is that he is rethinking every conversation he and Aaron ever had. At my husband's bachelor party, Aaron went missing for an hour. He told us and Jennifer it was because he just couldn't find his car. He just didn't know where it is.
Man was driving stick shift.
He was reaching in his pants trying to click the button to, beep the car, just he was lost.
Oh, can you shift for me? Sorry. The stick shift is skin flavored.
Yeah, skin flavored. Yeah. Oh, let me do it the proper way. Sam's tongue operated stick shift car.
I'm glad that you totally rolled with that one.
I'm here for it.
That was a stretch.
Skin flavored. I love skin flavored stick shift. Ford, home of the skin flavored stick shift. Like a real American. Now knowing everything we know, he was probably just getting a prostitute. He told us Jennifer asked him to buy a van when they first started dating so that they had enough room for 3 kids. But now we know Jennifer never asked him to do that. He just showed up with a van and his stuff and moved his ass on in. Oh, wait, he just moved himself in.
Again?
Like in the beginning of the relationship.
How did we rockin' like a hurricane? But how did we not see that he had so many red flags to begin with? Like, how did we think he was a good guy?
Well, OP and her husband never knew. They just now found out.
But how did they not know? Because it's not like someone like as we've said a million times, you have had to see these red flags previously, and like how did they not see all of these things that he was doing?
Something.
Yeah.
I told him, however he wants to move forward with Aaron is his decision. Aaron has been there for us during some really awful times, and I would love a scenario where Aaron would be honest and my husband could help him in some way. That is up to my husband. Even my therapist said to me, do you have room for this right now? And the clear answer is no.
That's a great question. Do you have, not that, like, do you care? Do you have room for this right now?
That is a great question.
That's a great question.
Look at us evolving as internet therapists.
Whoa, that's a great question. Do you have room for this right now? Because it's not like you don't care about someone at all. It's just like sometimes there's just too much going on in your life.
100%.
Damn, that's a great question.
I do hope at the end of the day, this breakup is permanent. And I really hope Aaron and Jennifer stay single for a while.
Me too. Wow, what a saga.
Right?
What a saga. I'm happy where it ended up though.
Ended in a happy ending. Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
You killed that one. That was great. I'm so glad that happened. That was so good.
We ended in a good spot. What do we think,
It's
Aaron?
the real question.
Is the real question. That real question is, what should Aaron do, or what should Opie's husband do about his relationship with Aaron?
I mean, it sounds like it's already kind of like set up. I think he's not talking to him right now because he can't deal with the shit.
What if he reaches out and tells him, like, I'm done with you?
What you think?
Kicking you to the curb.
Opie's husband should tell Aaron?
I'm asking because that's the
I
real
feel
question.
like, that's what I said. I feel like a couple updates ago. I still think that Opie's husband needs to have a sit down talk with Aaron.
Yeah.
Because I think if they've known each other that long, they deserve a man to man, a heart to heart, a lip to lip.
Oh, yeah.
In speaking terms, you know?
Happy ending to
Happy ending time, baby. I do think they need to talk to each other. But after that point, I think Opie's husband definitely is like, yeah, I like this. I don't need this in my life right now. But I think like doing like a friend breakup and saying like, hey, this is like laying it all on the table. I do think that is probably something important to do.
Closure talk.
Closure talk. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know. Put your answers in the comments. What would you do if you were Opie's husband? Would you talk to Aaron or would you just kind of ghost? Put your answers in the comments. But John, I think we got another story.
We have one. Let's get into it. My wife cheated on me, so I asked for a paternity test. She thinks I'm the a-hole. Am I? Riley, what do you think?
Nah.
Like,
You're not the a-hole, dude.
bro, like,
I mean, if you would be the a-hole if the kids look exactly like you and like they got the same nose shape.
it depends on it depends on the timing. Like, did she cheat once? Like
10 years ago, and then you had kids 3 years ago?
No, not even 10 years ago. Like, did she just cheat now?
Oh.
And your kids are like 20, and then she's like, and he's like, yo, like,
yeah, because like she did now, she probably did 20 years ago.
yeah, which would be his line of thinking. But then it's like, is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of.
What is the timing?
Yeah.
When were you? What's the timing of those cream pies, gal? We need to know.
When do those pies get fresh baked from the oven? Well, there's only one way to find out. So this comes from throwaway 1838404, and they say, me, 32, and my wife, 30, have been married for 8 years now.
Congrats.
3 years ago, she cheated
No congrats.
with a friend of hers, and after some time, we managed to reconcile.
Oh.
She found out she was pregnant a few days ago. After my initial reaction was happiness, then the thought that it could be someone else's crawled into my mind. It's a little dicey. It's a little dangerous. The thought that she's done it before has popped into my head. When I asked her to take a test and explained my reasoning, we had a huge fight. She said that I shouldn't hold that against her after all the work we've done to repair the relationship. I still feel strongly about having a paternity test. And so we're getting into some updates.
Do you think 3 years is a good enough time to like get that trust back?
Yes, I do think so. And like, I do think it would be different if they've been in a relationship for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And then like every 3 years she cheated. Then it's like, all right, your time is due. Where the clock's running out. But if this was an isolated incident, if she did do a lot of work over the past 3 years to really better herself and most importantly not cheat on you, and you know you feel good about that, and it's been true work on your relationship, that's been great, might be a little bit left field, might be a little bit too much. But we're gonna get into this next update, aren't we, Riley?
Yes, we are.
Wow, what great timing. So hello everyone, my last post got a lot of attention, so I figured that I should update you all. Some things to clear up. After my wife cheated, we have been in counseling. It's been a hard road for both of us, but we managed to build something new, so to speak. Also, we weren't actively trying for a baby. We didn't do things such as tracking her ovulation, but we've mostly had sex regularly without protection. It's been like this for the past 6 months.
Thanks for telling us you've been raw dogging for the past 6 months.
Oh, great. Gotta love like, oh, we're trying for a baby. You're just freaking raw dogging it. And no, we don't have STDs. Good to know. We both wanted kids, but since she cheated on me, that wasn't something we thought we should do for a while, at least not before we reconciled. So that's a good point to have in mind. Also, I tried to be as tactful as possible when I brought up the paternity test, but I think tactfulness can only go so far when you're essentially accusing your wife of potentially cheating on you, and it went like this. Honey, we need to talk about the baby.
What's wrong?
Look, I just need some reassurance. I love you, but I just can't shake this thought off of my head.
What thought?
I'm worried that it's not mine. After that, things got louder and we had a fight. We're getting into our next update. I would suggest a more tactful way to go about it. Like, I mean, again,
what is the most tactful way?
I would say like leading with like, look, you know, we had the cheating incident. It was 3 years ago. We've both put in a lot of work. You've put in a lot of hard work. I want to recognize that. I want to recognize everything that you've been doing, and I'm happy and I'm grateful that you've put in this work, and happy and grateful that we've like reached this place. This might be an irrational thought. I could be completely off my rocker. I could be completely insecure, but I do have this sneaking suspicion, or I do have this intrusive thought nagging me that I can't really get out of my head that, you know, maybe you cheated again.
That was pretty tactful. Okay.
But still.
Yeah. Honestly, I get a little hate for this one.
Let's go.
She deserves to give him a paternity test. She messed up a while ago. They have worked through it. I feel like a way to like, you know, be like, hey, I'm in the clear.
Yeah.
Because he has a concern. He's having some things. He wants those thoughts to go away. The best way to do that is to go through this. Yes, it is humiliating, but you just got to get over it. You just got to get over that fact.
You're saying like
she owes that to him.
She should have done it preemptively, or now that he's like bringing up that it's a concern of his.
Yeah. I think that's the best case scenario. She messed up before. This is the only way to get rid of those thoughts.
I do hear what you're saying, because it's not like we've tragically read so many stories of guys that like where they get these dumb ideas. Like, I mean, it's like Andrew Tate, like red pill rabbit holes, or like my cousin Bob had this happen to him. So like, I just know it, you know, or like, oh, I had this sneaking feeling and I just know it's right. And then they accuse. That's a very different story than this. She did actually cheat.
Yeah.
And
they talked about it. They went through it.
You know, it is. I will say it is this like really awkward period, because I think if it was like any time within like a year, like maybe a little over a year,
okay,
that's much grounds for much more suspicion on OP's part. But it has been 3 years.
There's a little separation.
Yeah, it's not like 10 years where it's like we're so far beyond that point. And like if OP's wife had just a squeaky clean record for 10 years, then it's kind of like, okay, like I think you're the a-hole at that point. But it is this weird middle ground of like they are kind of out of the woods, but it was also kind of not too long ago.
As Sam would say, Couples get one cheating every 4 years.
Sam's golden rule. And it's only been 3.
It's only maybe 3.
So maybe she's due for next. Maybe she tried to get her next one a year early.
Ooh, can't do that. I wish I could know more.
Well, we can know more by reading this next update. After our fight, I slept in the other room.
Nice.
And we didn't really talk for a while. We waved goodbye when we went to work and had small talk about our days, but didn't really address what we fought about. She eventually came to me and apologized for her reaction. She says she understands why I asked her for a paternity test. Okay. And she got mad because she thought the whole cheating thing was over and we wouldn't need to ever bring it up again.
Yeah.
She said she was mad because this made her realize that this is something that will always be a part of our relationship's history. And it reminded her of how much an effect this had on me and how much she hurt me. And she told me she was mad at herself. She says she hates the fact that she gave me a good reason to ask for it. We simply hugged it out after that. So she agreed to take the paternity test. Riley, she took your advice.
Wow.
She's going to make it happen.
They're going to make it happen.
But from some research we made, it seems to be a bit early for one, but we'll schedule a doctor visit and see what we can do. I'll be honest, I think the paternity test is just a formality now, but I still want it for my own peace of mind. I do love my wife and want us to start building a family. And I do thank you for all your responses.
Wow.
Speaking of responses, a quick relevant comment. What are you going to do if it's not yours?
This is the big question.
Oh, why did I not think about this? If the kid isn't mine, then I will leave. I made my mind up on that before I even asked her for the test, which, I mean, can you blame him? Especially, it would be so bad if at this point, like, it wasn't. And the wife was like, how could you be mad at me?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll be. But I feel like if she did, she would be going through the gold level mental gymnastics to try and flip and avoid getting the paternity test.
Yeah, I'm on that same.
She'd be like, oh no, like a paternity test, like if we do that, then like that destroys all the work that we've done for 3 years and da. So it seems like she's like, yeah, I'm down for the paternity test.
She's cooperative.
Yeah, she's cooperative. It's giving innocent. And I think OP is picking up on that as well. I'm picking up on that as well. So, but
I think
you never know. You never know until the rooster crows.
The rooster crows.
So let's get into the final update.
Is it his or is it not?
Hello, everyone. I posted here a few weeks ago and got a lot of people commenting on both posts. So I figured I should update. So we waited a few weeks before the test and the results came in.
I'm not even looking.
And well, the child is in fact mine.
Oh, good. Oh, I was so worried.
Safe.
Oh, we're good. Happy family.
Got it.
We're all gonna hold hands, sing songs.
Sing Kumbaya. Besides that, there's not much to tell. My wife has been very accommodating and has not got angry at me over this. We are both very excited to be parents. Also, to those of you who asked me to wait until the baby is born, how the F am I supposed to do that? I mean, you can. I think we've read there are potentially complications of doing paternity tests before the child is born. And there were some people, like even the people asking for the test, that were like, oh, I don't want to risk it or whatever. So I think there is some level of risk, the extent of which I am not sure. But not only you think I should lie to my wife, but also you expect my wife not to notice that the birth certificate lacks my signature. And that is the end.
Wow.
Of that story.
Honestly, I have not seen many of these. They worked it out. They look like happy parents now.
I honestly think that this is, like, all things considered, resolved.
Yeah.
Because, it seems like, while initially there was some pushback, that OP eventually realized, like, I mean, he literally got the paternity test. Like, yeah, she's innocent. You know, she wasn't cheating. And also, I think this is actually a good wake up call and kind of a sweet thing for the wife, because she was like, wow, like this thing that I did still hurts you. And like, I do honestly, you know what?
Uh-oh.
For that one moment, I will give the wife a green flag for that, because she had a few of these.
Whoa.
Okay, she had a few of these. She had a few of these, right? But in this instance, I'm going to give her the green flag because she really sat back and reflected and chose empathy.
Yeah.
And saw that, wow, this is hurting my husband so much. So let me do what Riley said earlier in the story, which was like, let me do the paternity test and like lean into it to make sure my husband knows I have nothing to hide. I want to assuage his worry and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I feel like in a way this kind of made him a little closer. They got through this.
Definitely. I think this is like, a storm that you come out stronger from for sure. Or like what iron welds strength. Pressure makes diamonds. There we go. I exposed my mother-in-law. I told my husband she is a cheater. Should I have done it? This is OKOP, where we read the craziest true stories on earth. I am John and producer Riley. Do we think this person should have exposed their mother-in-law?
If you're trying to get a break from your mother-in-law, do whatever you have. Use whatever tools you have to get her to shut up.
By any means necessary.
By any means necessary. Just throw it right into her face. I think, nah, not the a-hole.
Well, there's only one way to find out what happens. Spill that tea! So, this story comes from Buljin Boji.
Ooh.
So I, 27 female, and my husband, Liam, 25 male, have been married for 2 years, but we've known each other since middle school. My sister Naya, 31 female, recently separated from her husband because she was having an affair. Oh man, she was the culprit. I know that it's wrong, and I've been open and honest about what happened with my husband. The thing is, she's going through a really rough time right now because his ex is turning their kids against her and she needs support. Last night, my husband and I had an argument about it, and he said that I shouldn't associate with Naya and that it's my niece and nephew who really need my support. Which I kind of get. It's a tough thing because she was the one that cheated. So that's tough. We argued about it and it got loud between us. And I just pointed out that he's never cut his mom off and she cheated on his dad nonstop until the day he died.
Whoa.
Damn.
Oh my gosh. That's a nuclear bomb.
I mean, damn.
She has a good point.
I mean, she has a
She
point,
has a good
but yeah, dude, I don't know. That's the red button.
Yeah.
She pressed that button.
Yeah. And like, who's she trying to still hang out with? Her sister?
Her sister. She's trying to support her sister, who is the cheater. So like, I don't know if she has the grounds to press the nuclear button.
Kind of. It's family.
It is. I mean, she is correct. Like, she's just like stating what we are presuming is a fact. Well, my husband got really quiet, and it's not like we've stopped talking, but we have stopped talking about my sister.
Shut him up.
She kind of did. My husband is Chinese, and his father was from Hong Kong. His father was in his late 40s when he went to Vietnam and married his mother, Fan, who is barely 18.
Oh.
Dang. That is an age difference.
But back then, like,
It's a different time and a different culture, but
still,
that's a little crazy. She was still 18 when Liam was born and they had immigrated. Now, I want to point out, you would not know that Fan is an immigrant. She spent years getting rid of her accent. She's got veneers. She got into an engineering college and has a really high paying job.
Oh, so Fan's the mother-in-law?
Ah, Fan is the mother-in-law. You're right. Except, as my husband has told me, she constantly cheated on his father and she trained him since he was a little kid not to tell him. His father died thinking she was loyal, and I get it from the husband's perspective. He never knew she was wrong to do that. But he did eventually learn, and it's not like he's cut her out of his life. So I don't see why what I said was an a-hole move, but maybe I am wrong. We have a quick comment coming up, but Riley, we got to take a super quick pit stop here.
What is this mother-son relationship here? Okay. Uh-oh.
I'm throwing a red flag on OP. You ready for me?
Okay.
She said, I don't understand why me saying like his mom was a cheater was an a-hole move. Like, yes, it's true, but like it kind of depends on exactly how her argument with her husband has gone.
Okay.
But I'm like, it does seem kind of like an unnecessarily blow to make.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like, and to like, not be like, maybe I was like a little too harsh there. Like, that's what what I would expect her to say, to be like, I do not see at all how I'm the a-hole, versus being like, you know what? Maybe I overstepped my boundaries, but what I still said was true. That's what I was kind of hoping to hear from
But she's
OP.
taking like no blame.
She's like, how am I the a-hole right now?
Yeah, that is a red flag.
Yeah.
Not thinking of it very, how do you call it? Non-biased. It's very biased.
Yeah. That being said, not having empathy because that's probably why her husband is so bothered by her cheating sister, right? Because he realized later in life, like his mom trained him since he was a kid. So he had this like glass broken moment, basically probably traumatized from that.
Yeah.
And is like, I don't like cheaters.
Yeah. Yeah. And he wants something to do with them.
Yeah. Now, I mean, dude, this is such a complicated thing. And we'll get back into the story. But like the other thing that came to mind is like, listen, 40-year-old, 18-year-old, maybe she didn't like the way that everything was like planned out and how it kind of just played out. Maybe she kind of didn't have much of a choice, low key. I don't know if there was like what if there was like pressure for her to get in this marriage? I'm like making assumptions at this point, but like,
what was the whole situation? What's the context here?
Yeah, because like later she, you know, went to engineering school, all this different stuff. Like, you know, she made a great life for herself, but I don't know, maybe she just felt like so trapped.
This is like her way to escape.
Oh, her way to escape, maybe?
Yeah.
Like I could totally see that being true as well. So I don't even necessarily yet want to throw the mom under the bus. We don't have enough context. We don't have enough information. So we're going to get back to the story and see what's going on here. So this is OP's lengthy comment about her mother-in-law. I just saw this and I want to point this out. My husband's relationship with his mother is complicated because he loves her dearly. He would never call her a bad parent, and his therapist and I are the only ones he's ever talked to about how she used to act. I honestly couldn't reconcile what he told me about his mother with the woman I know, because after we got married, she gave me the biggest hug and said, I finally have a daughter. That's why I'm kind of like, I still have my theory that like maybe she wasn't in a good relationship.
She sounds like a great person.
Yeah. And like maybe she was just trying to escape and didn't feel like she had another way out. So, but we'll see. But since he was a little kid, she'd expose him to her affairs, and he's seen and heard far more than any child should have seen. No, she didn't literally do the dirty deed with her partners right in front of his eyes. She even told him once, never find a woman like me. It's to the point where I feel certain that it was abusive, but he refuses to accept that because he sees them as quote unquote just affairs, even though he goes to therapy over how it messed him up. Okay, so that's more context that I was saying we needed. Maybe it was like she was just dipping out of the marriage and, you know, not what we were saying originally.
Yeah.
To him, his mother is the woman who always volunteered at his school, worked as the duty mom at lunch, despite her actual job, would drive an hour to her university multiple times a week just to check in on him or give him lunch or cook him dinner, who still calls him every night just to tell him that she loves him. That's what he sees his mother as, even though he knows how wrong it was of her to do what she did. And yes, I asked if his mom hurt him so much, why let him be close? And his answer is always the same, and it's just that she needs him. Maybe that's what makes me wrong in having used that to make my point. But I love my sister, and I'm scared that what's going on could push her to the deep end. I feel like she needs me, just as he feels that his mom needs him. I don't want my niece and nephew to lose their mother, but I'm scared that they might.
Okay, this is what I see. She's a great mom, just wasn't a great wife. And I feel like, in a way, OP's sister may be a great sister, but just not a great wife. You know, that's what
you're right.
Kind of seems like. So I'm just kind of a little messed up in the head why the husband looks at his mom through that filter, but can't look at
Naya through that filter.
Yes.
Because Naya didn't do all these loving and actually incredible like motherly duties to him. And I again just got to give OP a little bit of a red flag, a little baby wave here, just because I don't feel like she's having any accountability for her sister. I think it's totally fine, especially if it sounds like she's worried that there might be some self-harm or some like drastic self-harm potential here, which is totally a fair point. And there's the niece and the nephew, and maybe right now she can't hold her accountable. That's fine. I just haven't heard OP said, yes, my sister effed up majorly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like broke her home, you know, broke the trust of her relationship, whatever. But right now, I kind of just need to bring her back to a place of stability before, like, I could totally understand that approach if that was what she was saying. But, and this is maybe why the husband is frustrated, is like, she's not seemingly holding her accountable at all. Not even like pressing her to be accountable right now, but just like, you know, just in general.
Yeah. I just don't understand like why the husband is like, you can't have a relationship with your sister, but I can still have a relationship with my mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Also went to therapy and processed through all those things.
Totally.
Like, why can he not like have that connection? You know,
that's his red flag for sure. And I had been meaning to get to that. So thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's probably the rose tinted glasses from your mother raising you and like just being like, bro, being programmed from like birth up, that's when it gets crazy. So I can like logically understand where his like, you know, kind of brainwashing from his mom comes from. I understand it. But yeah, like it's kind of time to break out of the mold and listen to your wife and your therapist. And I also think that two things can be true at once for him. She could have been this amazing mother to him.
Yeah.
And maybe a unfaithful, probably not great partner to his dad. I think that those two things can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like that is the case. Like that she was a good mother, but then she was like truly cheating with the husband as far as we know.
One last thing about OP. I think OP's just in the denial stage of this whole thing with her sister.
Yeah.
It's like too soon.
Too soon.
Not too soft. Too soon. That's why she's saying these things.
That makes a ton of sense.
And they're pointing at each other.
That it's Spider-Man memes galore over here.
But I think you got some comments for me?
We do. From the first post, OP responds to a person assuming her husband saw her mother-in-law without clothes as a child. Pretty much. He saw more of his mother than he should have, where she'd go to greet her lovers and was just told to sit on the couch and watch TV by her while it was going on. Yikes. That's bad. Beyond that, he might not have seen her actually doing it with her lovers, but he heard it. There were also times when his mother would yell at his dad for not being man enough to give her a daughter. That made him feel unwanted. That said, his mother did smooth that over with him. OP responded to a person calling her mother-in-law an awful parent. Maybe she is, but he would never call her that. For Mother's Day, he took her to Seattle and treated her to a wonderful day. For her birthday, he rented out a hall and threw her an amazing celebration. Wow. Opie's doing the most. And if he can still do so much for his mother when she did such wrong to him, I don't see why I can't be there for my sister who has done so much for him. That is a good point. That is a good point. Opie responding to a person saying that her mother-in-law is not a good parent. I agree. It doesn't make her a good one, but he'd go down insisting that she's the best mother. On this comment, OP responds to a person asking why she is supporting her sister and not her niece and nephew. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're important, but guess what? They need their mother, and they need their mother to be healthy right now. I'm all she has. So excuse me if I don't give them because their idiot father isn't letting them give their mother any time. OP on her mother-in-law being trafficked. His mother was not trafficked, and she herself would say that she wasn't.
Okay.
That's very good to hear.
Yeah.
She has been in constant contact with her family since she left Vietnam and has been on vacations there with nobody but my husband since he was 2 years old. If she wanted to leave his father, then she could have. Do I agree with a man near 50 marrying a teenager? Hell no. But my mother-in-law was not trafficked. She saw her husband as a ticket to a better life and she took it. Now that explains the context. So basically she was like, hey, here's this guy who wants to marry me, is down to marry me, and this is my ticket out. So that's where she didn't treat it as like a loving relationship. It wasn't that it was necessarily forced or trafficking or something like really bad along those lines. It was just like kind of a sugar daddy situation almost. Like, hey, I can go to America. And, you know, she did capitalize on that. I mean, she got her degree, she got her high paying job, she did all these different things with it. It seemed like she was able to acclimate into society really well.
Dude, give me a hat. Give me the tinfoil hat. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude, good throw. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hold on. Ooh, Riley's first tinfoil hat moment. What do you got for us?
So, one, she only saw OP's husband, or the dad, as a better way to a better life. So she did not love the husband's dad whatsoever, the dad at all.
We can potentially assume, yep.
I saw how much of a mother that she is for OP's husband.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is she like giving him so much love? It's because like she didn't give that love for her husband. She'd give that to the son.
Right.
And that's just a very interesting thing. And like why she was able to fool around and like was really hard on the dad because she only saw him as like the ticket, didn't really see him as a person.
Yeah. Like I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Basically, you're saying like maybe there was some guilt that she felt about like kind of using the dad. And she's like, all right, I might be like totally using the dad, but to make up for it, I'm going to love the crap out of my son and do the most for him and use that as a way to like ease my guilt out.
Even though there are tinfoil hats on our head, our wavelengths are the same.
That is correct. Yeah, I totally think think that that's a very, very plausible theory. Great tinfoil hat moment. Hey, round of applause for Riley's first tinfoil hat moment, ladies and gentlemen. Crushed it. But let's get into the next part of the story.
What?
On to the juicy update. I don't have much to say, since it's clear that my account got downvoted into being banned. Dang! However, my husband saw my post last night because he himself has talked a lot about his situation on Reddit since it's anonymous. It's me, his therapist, and online forums. It made him laugh because he wasn't sure if I was trying to attack his mother or defend her. It led to a talk about his mother and my sister and my niece and nephew, and we came to the decision that we were too involved, which I see as a kind of fair thing, honestly. I will still be there for my sister, and he'll still be there for his mother, but we've decided to take a snap vacation to Mexico next week. 2 weeks where we just get to be us with no other family members and celebrate Christmas alone. So, while I disagree with a lot of things people said about me and my sister, I thank you because it made my husband laugh, and now we're going to Mexico.
Wow.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect that as the ending of this story, but I get OP's concern for her sister, especially if there's self-harm involved. 1000%. I think she does want to do it, and her intention is to do it for the betterment of her sister's family, meaning like the children and, you know, her sister and all of that good stuff. But also at the end of the day, they're kind of like very involved and which happens, this is family, but I think you can argue that they kind of don't need to be.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that they're like, you know what, let's take a beat and go to Mexico.
Yeah. Let's just kind of forget about this whole thing. There was one comment I want you to read.
Yes. I saw that.
The mother is Vietnamese, so this is a very interesting comment about like that kind of culture.
Okay, yes. So let's check it out. This is from Sweet Ragnort. This... Gotta love it. This may be an important point. Being Asian myself, our cultural backgrounds can blur the lines between morals and filial loyalty. Is that familial loyalty?
I would say so.
Or is filial a word? Like family is everything. Parents can do no wrong kind of mentality. It's indoctrinated deeply to people who are raised in those traditional ways. Okay, so that's a very important factor there. So if your entire culture, not just your mom, your entire culture is telling you like basically from birth, like, oh no, you ride or die for your parents no matter what.
Yeah.
Like no matter what. That is definitely a big factor to consider here. Great comment. Do you have another comment for me?
Yeah, there are some people like talking about that point of view.
So Cephalopod Overlord says, thank you, that's perfect. I think that this is a big part of her husband's thinking, possibly combined with lots of assumptions here, an older father who probably wasn't as involved emotionally.
Ooh.
It also happens in non-Asian families. People forgiving bad behavior because, hey, they're family, but totally condemning someone else doing the same thing. What they're saying is...
The husband was thinking like this, like, even though the mom did all this wrong stuff,
right.
He's like, still that ride or die.
Right. It further deepens on like, look, it's family. So there's like a family pass.
Yeah.
I will give my family the pass, but someone who's not family, I will hold them like way more accountable to. Yeah. That makes sense. So basically, it seems like there's people from other cultures, not just Vietnamese or Asian, that are kind of like echoing the same sentiments. So
like have major respect for your elders, even though they do a lot of wrong.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it totally seems like a common theme, and it makes a ton of sense. I could totally see that. So it just seems like the husband is basically giving his mom a pretty big pass here for all of this stuff. A lot of different nooks and crannies in this story.
You know what nook and cranny I wish you would give me?
What?
Another story.
Let's do it.
My BFF invited my arch nemesis to her wedding, so I decided to boycott it. Am I the asshole?
You know, when my arch nemesis is present, I might want to assassinate them.
Yes. My 21 female best friend invited me, 22 female, to her wedding and also asked me to be her maid of honor.
How sweet.
Which is like, you know, the top seat in terms of the wedding duties.
In terms of Riley asking them for their number.
We'd always been inseparable throughout high school, so I excitedly accepted as they were high school sweethearts and they had been planning it for a while. They planned it out and she knew about the proposal before he did. We will call her B. So B had a total of 4 bridesmaids, including me. She created a group chat named last name wedding, which we were all in. A few months after the proposal, B had a falling out with 2 of the bridesmaids bridesmaids. So then it was just me and the other bridesmaid.
Damn. Two bridesmaids? You could barely call them bridesmaids.
Yeah.
It's almost
just,
bridemaid.
Yeah, it's almost, yeah, you're freaking survivoring your whole wedding party right now.
That'd be a fun show too.
You are voted off the wedding. We all went shopping for our dresses. It made it difficult to find shoes because she wanted either a nude color or black color, but it could not have anything shiny or sparkly. She also said we could not wear any earrings, necklaces, or hair accessories as it would take away from her day, which I understood. I don't know. I guess it's a thing, I guess.
All right.
I also asked her where to find her gift registry, in which she responded, "Oh, we only want cash so we can move." They still have not moved a year later. Well, B and I had always disliked Allie. We'll call her Allie.
Yeah, we will.
Because she was a close friend, basically best friend of ours, before I caught my then boyfriend of 4 years cheating on me with Allie in his bedroom, making out half naked.
Damn.
B knew how badly that situation had hurt me, and she always consoled me and comforted me when I got upset about it and stated how much she disliked Allie after that. Well, come time for our bachelorette party, we were all trying on our dresses, and the other bridesmaid casually asked, "So, who all is going?" In which B responded with several names of people we went to school with until she said, "Oh, and Allie is going too." In which the other bridesmaid responded, "Why is she going?" B looked at her feet looking guilty and said, "Well, she's my friend," and my heart instantly sank. As we had agreed not to invite the girls we caught our boyfriends cheating on us with.
There's a list. There's multiple people.
There's multiple people. Oh
What?
my God. She had a similar situation happen to her. I tried not to seem hurt, but I ended up leaving quite upset. This friend group is toxic,
Bro.
dude. This friend group is toxic. Like I like. There's no wonder the two bridesmaids dropped out. Like there's probably some shit happening behind the scenes.
For real, true.
I then texted her that I was dropping out of the wedding, in which she responded, "Fine, be like that." I texted back, "I thought we agreed not to invite Allie or Candy to her wedding." Candy was the girl she caught cheating with B's boyfriend. And she said I was being petty. So am I the asshole? And there's a couple short edits. I forgot to mention I dropped off the bridesmaid's dress at the venue before this falling out, and she let someone else wear it without my knowledge or permission. When I finally drove 30 miles to pick it up from that person, it smelled like dirty BO, stained, and it was just completely ruined. When I confronted B about this, she said, "Well, we had no other choice." Also, for those asking, I am no longer her friend or anyone's friend in that group. I also asked if Allie was going to bring my ex, to which she replied, "I don't know, maybe." Yeah, that's it.
Damn, this is one toxic, bro. They had a whole
I had a
list.
of girls that their boyfriends had cheated with to not invite.
Can we just this does not seem healthy. at
Toxic
all.
friend group, dude.
What do we do here?
Toxic friend group. But I mean, what would you do if you were OP? Like OP has this friend, and then like that friend invites. Well, I guess like question to you.
Yeah.
If one of your friends hooks up with another one of your friends' significant others, does that cancel them from being your friend?
Cheating wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty bad look.
It's also, I guess, it's how long the friendship is too.
Yeah. Yeah. The closeness of the
Yeah,
relationship.
the
So
closeness
if this
of the
is like
relationship.
your closest friend, you would probably give them way more of a chance.
Yeah.
Right. But and then is that also indicative of, like we always say, like, is that like the first of many red flags, you know? Yeah, I think it really depends on the friendship. Yeah.
5 years,
5 years, I'd probably sit down with them and like try to give them a chance.
3 years,
Probably still.
2 years,
Probably still.
1 year.
Yeah.
Cut off?
Yeah, that would probably cut off.
All
Yeah.
right,
Probably
all right,
year
all
is
right, that's
probably
the cutoff.
the marker. Yeah.
I don't know. What would you do in this situation? Put your comments down below.
That's right.
But let's also get to this next story.
Let's do it.
He cheated on me, and I'm not giving him a second chance.
Don't give him one.
Apologies for my English. I'm still trying to be fluent. I, female 26, met my partner, male 39, 6 years ago when I first moved to Canada from Germany. We moved in together within a year. We work in different fields, but we make about the same amount annually. I found out I got pregnant in July. When I told him, he got frustrated. Mixed emotions. Congrats. By the way, this comes from Sad Panda 2024-1 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I told him that I repeatedly reminded him about medication interactions and doctor advising using the protective layer among the banana while I'm on this medication, and he refused. Eventually, he said he is happy to be a dad and supports me. We got invited to a destination wedding in Mexico, his friend's wedding. I told him my doctor advised me not to travel as I have been very sick lately, hospitalized a few times, so I can't go. Doctor, how do we feel about this?
Don't go.
He got upset and he said he really wanted me to go. I got tired of hearing his grumpiness, so I said I would be fine. It's just a week, so I said, okay, let's just go. I talked to his mom and she said she would drive me to the hospital again if I needed to while we will be away. Wedding was last Tuesday. He left on Saturday evening. He sent some pictures to me on the day. He said he missed me and how he wished I was there, which I said hopefully we can do more trips when the baby is here. Then he was quiet on Wednesday. I got worried, so I texted his friend. He replied, "Oh yeah, he's fine. I'll tell him to text you." Still nothing. On Friday evening, so last night, he called me. I asked him what's going on. I was worrying sick. He asked how I was doing, if I needed help. I said I'm good, luckily. No, I've been fine. He then said he needed to talk to me. He made a horrible, wasted mistake.
That's never good.
We already know what it is.
You already know what happened.
He hooked up with one of the bridesmaids, bride's sister, and brought her to his room. But in the morning, he realized what a fool he was and told her to leave. He said, I made a mistake, but you have to realize if you were here with me, this wouldn't have happened. I was wasted and lonely.
What?
It was a one-time thing. It meant nothing.
How dare he blame it on her?
It's her fault. She should have been there.
You should be ashamed.
I felt like my brain was frozen. I said, you ghosted me for days and now tell me this? You were busy with her all this time? He said, no, I needed time to think and I was ashamed. I told him, don't bother coming home.
Dang.
Stay with her or your mother until I find a place. Then I don't ever want to see you again. He said I'm being selfish, hormonal, and overreacting to one mistake. Just one little mistake.
Calling a woman hormonal when she's pregnant and also when you just cheated on her is demonic.
Hey, calm down.
You're being so hormonal right now.
He said he took responsibility, owned his mistake, and will do anything to prove it to me. Am I overreacting for not even considering this for the sake of the baby? My best friend says we should try counseling and give him one last chance. But I'm just so upset. I can't even think. Thank you for your advice. And we have an update.
If she did give him a second chance, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. You know, you guys are having a baby together. But also, like, she's probably so hurt and shocked right now that I feel like she probably needs some time.
Oh, yeah. Separation.
That's valid.
I know a few marriages that have stayed together after being cheated, after cheating, but not all marriages can handle that.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's like a case-by-case basis. And I think it's fine if that's a deal breaker for you, and it's fine if it isn't.
I don't like the part where he's saying, I made a mistake. I took responsibility. You need to give me another chance.
Yeah, absolutely. He's being a douchebag.
That's not going to last because he'll do it again.
Yeah.
As many of you suggested, I sent a quick message to his friend and the bridesmaid he slept with. I told him that Kyle had admitted about him hooking up and says it was a one-time thing, but I'm wondering if there is more to the story that you would like to share. They both blocked me. Then all his friends blocked me on social media. He said something. He said something because you believe the news you first hear. So he went around and said, hey, my wife cheated on me, so I was wasted and we've been having bad boy. He lied to them. He probably manipulated them into saying something.
I mean, I guess good friends to him. They're very loyal, but also like what bad people. If my friend cheated on their partner while they're pregnant, I don't care if you're my friend. I'm going to side with the partner.
Yeah. The victim of the cheating in this situation.
Girl code.
Last night, late, he sent me a message. I think he was wasted that I am an unhinged lunatic. He did the right thing and owned to his mistake and confessed to me, yet I acted like a crazy see you next Tuesday and harassed him and his friends and their family. He meant the bridesmaid. He said, I am so insecure, it's pathetic. He said, we are done and he wants me out of his house immediately.
What?
He didn't even mention once the baby. He's
Get
like,
out.
He's like, I think I can work this out with the bridesmaid's sister. We're done. You know what? We're done. I don't think this is gonna work. You're being insecure.
This man makes no sense to me, and I think he needs to be blocked out of her life.
Oh yeah, wait till he comes back to reality. He's gonna be begging back for OP. He's like, please take me back.
What about the baby?
Oh yeah, and I bet you coming up, it's gonna be like, I cooked him food, I cleaned up, blah blah blah. I did everything for him. This is the type of guy we're talking about. I decided not to bother replying. I had no energy and was crying all day. I'm moving back with my family. I decided last night, early morning tomorrow. My family is happy that I'm moving back, especially my mother. Oh, that's sweet.
That's cute.
I don't think I'll say goodbye to his mom. I'm not ready to talk to him, and she will make him do that. Thank you again for all your comments. We have another freaking update.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't even know.
Do you think she's going to take him back?
He's definitely gonna beg.
Yeah.
I think OP. No.
Goodbye.
She's over it. Hi, I'm sitting in the airport waiting for my flight, so I thought I'd write one last update. I messaged his mom and told her what happened. I was shocked when she called back immediately and was furious with me.
Huh?
She said I have some nerve twisting the story covering my cheating, but I told her I don't understand what she's talking about. I called that. I freaking called that.
Would never
I
have
freaking
expected that.
Called that. Because he went around, he's like, I'm going
Just
to get
lying.
ahead and lie. Because whatever you say first, people will believe.
That's wild.
I knew it. I freaking knew it. Roll that back. Apparently, he told everyone, including his mother, that he checked my social media. He had all my passwords, but I never asked any of his. I've changed them all now and found out I was having an affair with my coworker and was trying to trick him into raising my affair baby.
What? This man needs to be arrested.
To jail. I told her most of my team work virtually, so this makes no sense. I also have maybe 25 followers on my Instagram, and most of them are my family from back home. I also have a rule to never add any of my coworkers on social media because I'd rather keep my personal life, professional life separate. She said her son found out when he was alone in Mexico, and now he is heartbroken. Then went on and on about how could I do that to him and stuff. I kept explaining. She wasn't listening. I was so upset. I told her, I'm done. I'm done arguing, and I hung up. I'm done with this man and his lies. By the way, please don't be done with us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. And where do we go live, Steph?
On YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and TikTok.
And we might be live right now, so come and check. But yeah, no, this man doesn't even want you back anyway, so.
He's a menace to society, and you should run away, far away from this man and his family because clearly they suck.
They do suck. I love doing a Get It Ready with Me, explaining your side of the story and posting it on TikTok and letting everyone in the world know
Yeah.
the facts.
But then they all blocked her, so.
Oh, man. He already did a Get Ready with Me
That's
first.
wild. Yeah, he did.
Even if your partner cheats on you, going to Mexico and doing it back to them, and I guess he had a few days to think about it.
This man was like making too many moves. He's like playing chess out here. He was like 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just makes up lies and blames me for it. I can't do this anymore. I submitted time off from my boss. She's amazing and will be settling for the next few weeks. Looking forward to the new chapter of my life without him. And that's it. Good for you, OP. Good for you figuring
Leave
that out.
him.
Leave him. Oh my gosh.
I hope you have a good life.
And I hope one day he'll go on social media and see how nice your life is and be like, man, what did I do?
I will not wish evil upon other people, but next story.
Your turn.
My wife is leaving me for someone she's only known for 3 months.
That's just, oh.
A slight preface. My wife and her brother were very close when young. He got very into booze, went to prison for 10 years, went immediately back into drinking, then passed away in front of her.
Oh my gosh.
That is
What a
quite some backstory. By the way, this comes from You Heis Scheiss on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So, my wife 30 and I 33 started going to the gym together. We were loving the results of the fitness. It made spicy sleep even better, and we couldn't keep our hands off each other. We felt as happy and as close as ever. 3 weeks after her brother passed away, this guy chats her up at the gym and she immediately clicks with him. I was wary, but I trusted my wife. She is a sweetheart and never imagined her having the ability to have an affair. Last weekend, we had one of the most romantic days and evenings we've had in a while. This week, she decides that she cannot go on without finding out why she developed such a quick connection with this guy. We own a house and 3 pets. Her family and everyone we know are devastated and blown away, but she is very serious. The woman I knew last week even, has left the building. This is a living nightmare that I just want to wake up from.
I'm betting you they do CrossFit.
Maybe. We did couples counseling 3 times and have had one schedule on Wednesday, but she's completely made up her mind and seems to have rapidly fell out of love with me. My life as I had known it is over. I just needed to get this all off my chest.
Yep.
Well,
go bench press.
yeah, this poor dude, like, what? That is very drastic. There is an update. I had a kind Redditor reach out to me over the weekend asking how I was doing regarding this above situation. The original post got a lot of attention, so I figured I would give an update. My wife filed for divorce a month after moving out.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. During this time, I did the whole online dating thing, which was way worse than I could have ever expected.
Why would you do that to yourself?
That's so quick.
What?
Yeah, you need time to grieve. Kept myself busy working out, building my own confidence, hanging out with friends. In general, it was horrible, but I was trying to keep my head up. I was in therapy, didn't jive with my first therapist, found a new one in December who I liked a lot more, and am still seeing her. Mid-December, my wife calls me crying, asking if she can stay in the guest bedroom because she has nowhere to go. I say yes.
No!
Even though she hurt me so badly, I did still love her. So things with the guy at the gym turned very toxic very fast. I know the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot these days. This guy, though, it's hard to believe these subhuman pieces of trash actually exist. So she stays in the guest bedroom for a week, then goes and stays at her parents' for a month. She had a nervous breakdown and was able to get a medical leave of absence from her work. Mid-January comes around and she is back at the house, but still in a very frantic and erratic state. Sort of like she was withdrawing off of hard drugs.
Whoa.
I had no idea about the addictive nature of toxic relationships. It's a psychological cluster F. She is clear that she is too effed up in the head to be in a relationship and is going to work on herself. I give her the time and space she requested. She goes all in on learning about the psychology of all this crap. Inner child work, how the nervous system reacts and attracts you to toxic people if you grew up in a toxic household, anxious and avoidant attachment styles. There's this book called How to Stay Married where the wife had an affair and it turns out the root of her issue was her unresolved childhood trauma. Long story short, same thing happened here. It hurts, but I can forgive her. She's my best friend and we are insanely compatible in a lot of ways. She has really been returning to herself the past month. She's the happiest I've seen her in at least a year. And last week, we filed the paperwork to dismiss the divorce. Okay. So we are both in individual counseling and soon to start couples therapy. I'm sure a lot of people will think I'm making a mistake in reconciling, but I am happy. I do trust her that she now has the knowledge to not let this happen again, and she has the drive to become the best person she can be. What are your thoughts? Would you take her back?
I have seen relationships work out after being cheated on. OP's ready to do the work. I do not know the state of mind of OP's partner ready to do the work.
Well, I mean, it seems like the partner was the one that started all the work. Like all this like inner child work, reading books.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that.
I think she's doing that to understand herself. I don't know how she values this relationship though. I think she's trying to figure out, okay, why do I get with this guy? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I know that she said she's not ready for a relationship and she's working on herself. I know everyone's going to probably disagree, but like, I think this could work out if they're both on the same page.
Yeah.
I just don't see anything from the wife right now that's like on the same page.
There is an edit. I'm reading all the comments and taking everything to heart. even / especially the ones calling me stupid, chump, and doormat. I completely understand where you are coming from. I just don't have time or desire to respond to so much. I want things to work out and do trust my gut that this was a one-time thing. I will post an update and take all of the I told you so if it comes to that. Ooh, suspense. Is it gonna work or is it not?
We have an update. Oh my gosh.
Drum roll, please.
Oh my gosh. I don't like this update. I don't like it. I'm scared.
Update 2. My self-esteem is reshattered and I really don't know what to think. My wife and I were together for 12 years and I thought we had a great spicy sleep life 3 to 4 times a week. Felt very passionate. She always talked about how good I was at pleasing her. She always came. She left me for someone she knew 90 days and they lasted 5 months. I tried to salvage a relationship of 12 years. Things were decent, but the passion was gone, and she was clearly hung up on the fact that her knight in shining armor wasn't who she thought. It was making me hate myself staying with her, so I finally left.
Okay.
Today, she told me that the main reason we were not able to rekindle things is that spicy sleep with the other guy is mind-blowing and that she can't be in a romantic relationship that doesn't have that level of spicy sleepable intensity. Wow.
Whoa.
Now that I was not expecting.
Holy cow.
That came out of left field.
Holy cow. So she was getting a decent 6 out of 10 and then she just had 10 out of 10 experience.
And then she's like, I can't go back.
I cannot live with the 6 out of 10 anymore. That's crazy.
Wow. I don't know how I'm supposed to process this.
Dude, we're mind blown too.
I'm so mind blown. Like, I'm so sorry, OP.
Oh my God.
Just remember, size doesn't matter.
And comparison is a thief of joy.
It's about the motion of the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Yikes. I don't even know what to say. This is why people wait till marriage.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything to compare it to.
Ooh.
Not that I think that's good either.
You gotta know where your man's at with this stuff.
Yeah. But dang, there are some relevant comments.
Yeah.
Differ Management once said, she sounds rather cruel and kind of stupid. I bet your life is going to be better off without her in it. Big Opinion says, your wife chose fantasy size spicy sleep over 12 years of commitment, memories, and building a life with you. That's self-absorbed. The fact that she gives you the details too is really low. She could have just said she wasn't happy and ended it. Time to find yourself again and think about what you want. You know, that is like something that I think about, right? It's like how, like, what do you prioritize, right? I think like some people might put spicy sleep above, like, or have that as like,
more over compassion.
Or like over commitment and like stability, right? It's like, oh, this person had like passion, but then they're also really toxic, right? Versus like your husband that
has compassion
and you is not toxic, but then maybe is not as like passionate in bed. So it's like, how do you weigh the two?
Yeah. I don't think she did not make the right choice here, though.
I don't think so either. Deleted comments from OP. That's the truth. I wish I'd accepted that 7 months ago. Our divorce was 12 days away before she dismissed it. Now we gotta go through it again. Love and learn. I wish that were true. I'm leaving because of her hitting me below the belt. Last week, I wanted to reconcile, try and save what was once a loving and secure relationship. Her telling me that crap was the final nail in the coffin. One last kick in the balls to conclude a year of pain and heartbreak. I will be okay though. Yep, got that right. Also, just started making 6 figures in a low cost of living area. Slay. In addition to selling a house that is nearly paid off, fitness is my main priority right now. Overall, I'm not too worried. I'm ready to move on. I just feel stupid. Not divorced yet. It's been a long time coming, but this crap just went down 2 weeks ago. Our finances have been separate for a while now. She is broke and I have like $150K in IRA and 401 savings. So he's thriving.
Dude, rose up.
My sister is a lawyer, not a divorce lawyer, but she says I should do it without a lawyer. I am doing the paperwork right now. By the way, these people are divorcing, but doesn't mean we should. So you should join us live on YouTube and Facebook every day at 3 p.m. PST. Tap on our profile. Soon to be ex-wife isn't mad at me or anything. She does feel bad and knows she is the POS S in this situation, so she is being civil. We've agreed to sell the house, split the profit, and that will be that. She will leave my retirement account alone. Appreciate the advice. That is sound wisdom. I hike a lot, hit the gym 5 to 6 days a week, have been for 2 years. I'm a novice at guitar, and this seems like a perfect opportunity to get really good. Would love to be in a band. We'll have to think about combat sports. I do kickboxing workouts for cardio and do enjoy these. Yep, no doubt. Divorce has been filed.
All right, and he has a lot of free time coming up.
I guess, he's like hot boy summer now.
Yeah, I'm going to be kickboxing my way through this divorce.
That's it.
I told my sister-in-law that her husband cheated on her. Now my wife wants to leave me.
Go.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
I've been married to my wife for 3 years. I am 27. She's 26. My sister-in-law is 30. And my POS brother-in-law is 31. I always had a close relationship with my sister-in-law. We are friends. Also has a decent connection between my brother-in-law. Not that close, but we often talk and get along. By the way, this comes from Traditional Hour 48.3 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So my wife and her sister didn't get along as much as you would expect from siblings. It wasn't just normal sibling rivalry, but constant fights and arguments. Anyway, 3 weeks ago when I was having dinner with my friends, I saw my brother-in-law with another woman. They were just eating. I didn't think much of it. I wanted to go and greet them, but I kept talking to my friends. After a while, I saw that he gave a light kiss to this woman and I was shocked. I decided not to confront him. When I got back to my home, I told my wife everything. I told her that her sister is getting cheated on and we need to tell her. My wife said we should talk to my brother-in-law instead of telling her sister, and we should not break their marriage because her sister is pregnant. I was like, WTF? So what if she's pregnant? Her husband is a cheat. I tried to convince my wife multiple times that we should tell her sister the truth. I told her, I know you guys don't get along, but she's still your sister and it isn't right, but she asked me to stay out of it. I tried my best to convince my wife, but she either ignored me or said we shouldn't break their marriage. I had enough of her, and yesterday I told her that I am coming clean to my sister-in-law. She said I have a great bond and I can't and won't betray her. My wife said if I tell her the truth, she will not talk to me. I replied, I won't talk to you either if you don't want to do what's right. Today, I told my sister-in-law the truth. I went to her place and told her everything. She was doubtful and she asked me to leave. After a few hours, my sister-in-law called me and she was crying and said what I said was the truth and she wouldn't have doubted me and kicked me, and she said she's leaving. I asked her, where would you go? Do you have money? She said she does, but not that much. I wired her a bit and she said she could call me if she needs help, and she thanked me and said she will only use the money I send if it's necessary. Otherwise, she'll return it. My brother-in-law called my wife and my wife lashed onto me and said I ruined her family and her sister's life. I said, I thought the moment we got married, your family is mine and my family is yours.
Are we just taking zero accountability for the dude cheating? Is that what we're doing right here?
That's what we're doing.
What the
It's just
heck?
like over our heads.
Anyway, why the F are you defending that POS so much? What about your sister? She didn't reply to me and she's not talking to me either. I tried to talk to her and convince her that it was the right thing to do, but she wouldn't talk to me. So I said, fine, stay angry. And if you want to divorce me, go ahead. I think I've nuked my marriage and don't know if what I did was truly right. We have an update. It's been a few days since. I told my wife's sister that her husband is a cheat. Just to clarify to all the weirdos, no, I am not in love with my sister-in-law. I don't have inappropriate relations/feelings for her. I respect her and she's my family. In any case, yesterday, I asked my wife why she is pissed and wanted me not to reveal the truth to her sister. I know you guys hate each other, but you guys are siblings. My wife said it's not our place to interfere. I asked, are you okay with your sister being cheated on? She said she isn't, but it will and has ruined their marriage because of my stupidity. She's pregnant and the child needs his father. So does the wife. I was so shocked when she said this, like, WTF? I asked her if I were to cheat on you, would you forgive me? She said yes. I also asked if she ever cheats on me and she hides it from me. She also said yes to that.
Okay, so she's like, it's like, hypothetically, if you cheated on me, would you hide it from me?
Yeah, hypothetically.
I like how she's being honest about her hiding and lying.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, yes, I would tell you, no, I'm not cheating with you, even though she
And
was.
while you have her on this lie detector, ask her if she has any relationships with the brother-in-law. I just go ahead and say
That's
it.
crazy.
I was so shocked. I asked her if she knows what she's saying, and she says yes. And she's confident just because you had with someone else doesn't mean everyone else has to suffer and break the family. I had no words to say. I told her that I also sent my sister-in-law money. She started screaming at me and said I shouldn't have helped her despite knowing she doesn't like her sister. What is going on here? I said if that's what she thinks, then it's better if we just divorce. She got angry and screamed, "Fine!" and started packing her bag. I tried my best to stop her from leaving. I told her that I love her and I just did what felt right. Nobody has to suffer betrayal like this. She said wasn't the right time, air quotes. I asked her, so when should we tell her the truth? After she gives birth? Because it will worsen her PPD, or years after she gives birth. She will just blame us. She said we should have just kept quiet and left it alone. I tried so hard to stop her, but she didn't listen to me and left. I tried to contact her and her parents, her friends, but they don't know where she is and instead started interrogating me and saying I am her husband and I should have taken care of her and I should know where she is. I even visited my brother-in-law to confirm my suspicions, but I didn't see her car or her belongings anywhere. Oh, so he was on the same wavelength as my conspiracy theory. He went to the brother-in-law to see if she was there. But she's nowhere to be found.
And she's not there.
She's not there.
Now. So, okay.
She's
So,
not there.
at least as of right now, they're not cheating together. But
Oh my. I hate that I am being blamed for just revealing the truth and my wife is leaving me right away. Without a second thought, I was so dang pissed. So today I called my sister-in-law and told her that she can stay at my place because I'm going to my parents and my wife left and nobody knows where she is. She told me she will try talking to her parents, but after a while she called me and said that their parents don't know where she is. I told her to think about herself and to come over and stay here instead of blowing up her money. And you can come and cool down every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just do what?
Tap the profile, baby.
What do we do here? Do we try to go after the wife? Do we just give up?
So again, breaking it down real quick. So I don't know if I can continue to be in this relationship.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to try and come back and fix it, I'll sit down and talk to you. But
Yeah.
like you literally just disappeared. So I don't even know where to find you to even sit.
That is so weird. I want to know the beef between her and her sister.
Yeah, right.
And then just like, we should divorce if you're not going to budge on this. She's like, okay, bye.
Meow.
yeah.
It sounds like she planted this in a way so she could get out.
Whoa. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Anybody else get that feeling?
Yeah, she just. It was
Do you
so
do you see
quick.
that, Keon?
I mean, I need to find out a little bit more because I feel like there's gonna be like a confrontation where it's like, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I need to peel that onion. I need to see
Yep,
the core of
peel
it.
it.
Now I'm at my parents, and my sister-in-law is in our home. Maybe I was being petty, but I hate that my wife gave up on me and left without a second thought. I don't know whether she's cheated or if she would truly cheat on me and her own blood sister with a family relative over feuds. One thing is for sure, though. I cannot trust my wife anymore. She hurt me. And that's all we have.
Oh wow,
That's all we got, dudes.
That's it.
You wanted out and you just wanted some sort of like the worst and weirdest excuse and reason ever.
Yeah.
But like you just invented this crazy stupid plot and also just up and leaving like that, like skipping town basically.
Yeah. I was hoping he had her location and he could see her going straight to the brother-in-law's. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, that would have made it even worse. So, right?
Oh, yeah. It would have made it so much worse.
So at least it wasn't that we know of. That we know of.
My boyfriend cheated while I was at my grandmother's funeral. I want revenge.
I mean, yeah, take revenge for you and for your grandmother.
Your grandmother's probably rolling in her grave about this. My boyfriend, 24 male, we'll call him Joe, and I, 22 female, have been dating for over 5 years. We live over 2,000 miles away from where we both grew up. We both went to the same high school, had the same friends, shared a lot of the same trauma. By the way, this comes from Good Morning Petty on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, both of our families are in the same area still. We moved about 3 years ago and have been living in the new location since. We often go to a friend's house where they have garage hangouts. We shotgun beers, play cards, and just chill.
Just chill hangouts.
We have met a lot of our friends there, and we meet lots of new people constantly because it's a pretty open door policy. We recently met a girl, we'll call her Brittany.
Hello, Brittany.
Hello, Brittany. Also note that Brittany lives 2 doors down from the garage parties. She seemed really cool and someone I wanted to get to know. We exchanged numbers and swapped music back and forth. So we made a group chat with Joe so he could share his music too.
We hang out with her maybe twice at our friend's garage hangout. Joe's and my relationship has been pretty solid. We've been through a lot together, but we're always there to support each other. I know him better than I know myself. Based on the title, I don't think that's true. I trusted him fully. That's why when my grandmother passed, I wasn't worried about leaving him for a week to see my family and attend her funeral. My sister paid for my ticket because we're broke AF, but she couldn't pay for his. I was very wrong. On the night of my grandmother's viewing, he went to a garage hangout. We talked on the phone and he told me he wished he was with me. When I woke up the day of the funeral, I checked my phone and saw that I had a missed call from Brittany at 2:30 a.m. And she texted the group chat. This is copied and pasted with the name redacted and the one word censored. Hey, I was just thinking of you. I'm here with Joe and I effing miss you, but he misses you too, of course. I hate how much I miss you. Call me. Note, no texts or missed calls from Joe. I didn't call Brittany back. I called Joe 4 times before he answered. He was at another mutual friend's house. We'll call him Tyler. And Tyler, Brittany, and Joe were playing cards there since the garage party had ended. They had all stayed up all night. Now, obviously, I had my suspicions, but I trusted him and didn't want to be a crazy girlfriend to say he couldn't hang out with friends when this girl in the group has made no advances to him in my presence and seemed like someone I wanted to get to know. I wanted to give them all the benefit of the doubt. I got ready for the funeral and all. While doing so, I was texting Joe and calling him because I was having a hard time. Thank God for waterproof mascara. He wasn't answering. This is ridiculous. Opie's literally going through her grandmother's funeral and he's not picking up.
Too busy shotgunning beers with Brittany.
Too busy snogging Brittany.
Sorry, babe. Maybe if you knew how to shotgun, I'd
be there for you.
I'd be a little more interested in your grandma's funeral, but it doesn't sound very lit.
I knew then that something was up because this was not normal behavior. He's never done this before and has always been very upfront about his activities and location. When we were walking out the door to go, he called me. By then, I was with my family and told him I'd talk to him later. He said he was sorry for missing my calls and that he had fallen asleep, but he had gotten home now safely. He said he was going back to bed. I told him I'd talk to him after the funeral. When he woke up, we texted about what happened that night, and I just couldn't shake the suspicion that something was up. I called him, briefly talked on the phone about the same stuff we texted about, and then I just bluntly asked him, did anything happen between you and Brittany?
Ooh, that's a horrific message to read if you're Joe.
Yeah, you're like,
I know something happened with Brittany.
He stuttered and said, well, nothing really happened. I drove her home from Tyler's house. She invited me in and we kissed.
Whoa! Wow! Wow! Dude! Is that your definition of nothing?
Nothing?
Wow. So if that's the lie, then you know the truth has got to be way worse.
Yeah, way worse. I stopped it there. Then I fell asleep on her couch. I'm sorry, she kissed you? And then you stopped it there and then decided to stay on her couch instead of leaving?
Yeah, right, dude. So I have a thought here.
Ridiculous. What's your thought?
I have a thought.
There's more to the story, but I want to hear your thought.
Was Brittany's text the, oh my God, I miss you like so much. I mean, and clearly Joe does too because he's with me. And then being like, oh my God, like I miss you, like call me. Was that her trying to give her like a warning, like your boyfriend's with me at 2:30?
I think it was either a, hey, warning, your boyfriend's here, or it was like trying to make her jealous. Like, hey, your boyfriend's here. I think it could have been either of those.
Or her trying to be like, yeah, your boyfriend's here and I miss you so much. See how we're not cheating on you. I just happen to be with your boyfriend who's not kissing me.
He's totally not kissing me. I pretty much asked every question in the book with him on the phone. Lots of his answers were vague, and his reasoning or excuse was that he was drunk and didn't remember. The thing is, this really grates me. If, when you're drunk, you are overly affectionate or this is the behavior, then you need to stop or limit your drinking. Because if you can't control yourself to this extent, then that's an issue, which I don't think that's true. I think that he was fully aware.
Folks, just whatever you do, don't drink to excess.
Yeah. I hung up thinking I walked into a different reality. Now, here's where I need the help. What the F do I do? Do we work through this? This man has been basically the perfect boyfriend up until this moment. I have said that I created him in a lab because we complete each other. But this is a huge moment, even if it is just a kiss. Do we believe it's just a kiss? I like that Opie's like, do we believe this? I don't.
And we do not.
I asked her to explain, and she said it was a dumb, intoxicated kiss, but did they plan to say that together? So Opie also asked Brittany, is this possible to get over that this happened while I was burying my grandmother, who I'm very close to? He agreed to go to personal therapy and couples therapy to work through this. He seems really remorseful. Is this really just a stupid, intoxicated mistake? I need to move in the shadows, but I'm also very honest. Something that people I'm dealing with are apparently not. I have a very hard time keeping anything like a birthday surprise from Joe, let alone moving in the shadow plans. On the other hand, I'm also in need of some delicious petty revenge. And we're in need of you joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile. But there is a little bit more. What do you think about this? Because I have some thoughts about that final sentence.
I think, well, no, it's just funny because I realized partway through that story, Joe and Brittany kiss, and then Joe still stays over at Brittany's, and he's like, no, it was just a kiss.
It was just a kiss.
And like, I kind of did the same thing one time.
What?
Yeah, but there was never a kiss, but I did sleep over at this person's house, and we did sleep on the couch, and nothing happened.
Not when she was in a relationship.
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
I might have been, but nothing happened.
Wait, but you kissed.
Or there was no, we didn't. That's what I was saying.
Okay, that's different.
But we both slept on the couch, but nothing happened. And like, could something have happened? I have no idea, but I'm not a guy that makes stuff happen. So anyway, I suddenly find myself somewhat empathizing with Joe in this.
No.
Being like, I mean, I just needed a place to lay down. I slept on the couch. It was at her place.
I think that if OP is wanting to get petty revenge, then she should not stay in this relationship. But there is more to the story. Slightly relevant silly tidbit. My grandmother was not the kind of lady who kept her opinions to herself. She was very blunt, unapologetic, and she kicked butt. Not everyone's cup of tea. My cousin told a story at her funeral of when my grandmother and grandfather were dating. 2 other girls were paying a little too much attention to my grandfather, so my grandmother offered them a ride to school, but instead dropped them off at the mouth of the canyon and said, "Get out," and then she drove away?
Wow.
Because they paid a little too much attention to.
Yeah.
That's intense. I don't care what you believe happens after death, because that's my grandmother telling me how she would handle this. That's some tasty, petty revenge. Edit. Tyler's house is 3 miles away from the garage party house. Brittany lives 2 doors down from the garage party house. Tyler, Joe, and Brittany all went to Tyler's house. Joe drove Brittany home from Tyler's house. Joe and I lived together 6 miles away from the garage party house. 2 things. 1, the fact that Joe drove Brittany home but claims it was a drunk mistake. Either you weren't drunk or you were. Both are bad because you drove. That's pretty messed up. Second, I don't know if we should follow your grandmother for advice in this. Seems like she might be a little bit of she seems wonderful. I love your grandmother. Perhaps she is not the best role model in this situation.
She's great. Maybe just don't listen to her entirely. Look, I think at this point, the only person with any sort of leverage, I guess, in the situation, it's like your fate is entirely in your hands at this point. Whether you want to try to make this work or want it to be over, the power is in your hands. And whichever one you choose is the right choice because it's your choice to make.
Exactly. Don't let anyone bully you into thinking otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your decision. What I would say is that having once been a very stupid guy, I'm less stupid now, but I used to be way stupider. This might be a case of just a real stupid guy. And then maybe he drove her back to his place, and then he has the realization, oh, I shouldn't have been driving that car. And then he sleeps on the couch. One of the only things I can think of that makes any sense or provides any leeway in that situation. It's still, decision lies within OP's hands.
I caught my fiancé cheating on me, so I left without a single word.
Ghosting them.
I, male 25, met my now ex-fiancé in my first year of college. We were both 18 and went from friends to lovers pretty quickly.
Ooh.
We clicked so well, and everything was so easy and effortless. We had a really good relationship. It's the kind of relationship that everyone wishes they were in.
I love how they're inflating this so much.
Yeah,
and we know where
like,
this is going.
We gotta poof this up and make it look real beautiful in the beginning. The kind of relationship that people idolized and said, if those two broke up, then love doesn't exist. You get the picture. By the way, this comes from user BigAd8239 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for the purpose of this post, let's call my ex Ashley. Ashley was everything I was looking for in a woman. funny, smart, attractive, down to earth, and family oriented. She wanted to build a life together. Our families got close over the course of our relationship. It was like we were already one big family before even getting married. It was so perfect.
Aww.
Until it wasn't. As planned, I popped the question a year ago, not knowing that it would change everything. She said yes, of course, but things started to change.
Uh-oh.
Slowly but surely, over the months, she became more distanced. I tried to ignore it and chalk it up to nervousness. You know, cold feet before taking the big marriage plunge. I should have trusted my instincts. She always went out with her group of friends on the weekends.
Uh-oh.
I've been on these outings before. Usually it's clubbing and drinking. It's not my scene, but I trusted my girl, so I had no problem with her going out with me. These outings became much more frequent after I popped the question. Ooh, there's a correlation here.
I see.
I tried to ignore my gut feeling that something was wrong about this. I should have listened. Last week, I get a text from one of her girlfriends. Oh, one of her girlfriends.
Uh-oh. This is a good person, hopefully.
I mean, let's see what the girlfriend says. She said she feels super guilty about what's been going on.
What's been going on?
According to her, Ashley has been worried about getting married. She feels that she hasn't had a chance to explore other options, and the prospect of getting locked down for life made her really anxious. On these outings, she will frequently flirt with guys, dance with them, grind on them, make out with them. Since she wasn't having spicy sleep with them, she didn't consider it cheating. Girl.
This is a logic that I don't get behind.
Girl.
But this is a logic.
Just imagine telling all her friends that. It's not cheating, guys. I've made out with a couple guys.
Yeah,
I've grinded on them. Yeah, it wasn't cheating. I didn't have spicy sleep, so it wasn't cheating.
There we go.
I'm still so excited to get married, guys. You guys gotta be my maid. Who's gonna be my maid of honor, guys? Who's gonna catch the bouquet? According to the friend, she also gave one guy a sloppy toppy in the club bathroom. She sent me pictures and videos from some of the escapade. My heart sank. I felt like I died that day. I thanked the friend for telling me and told her to keep it between us. For me, any form of cheating is a big no-no. I knew it was over. What makes this worse is that I have a past with cheating. She knows about my high school ex who cheated on me, and being a stupid teenager, I tried to end it all. This just makes the whole situation cut even deeper. She knows how much hurt she could cause and still went ahead with it, literally. I wanted to crawl into bed and cry for a month. I wanted to be weak. I felt weak. I decided I would give myself the chance to mourn and cry over this after I protect myself. Before we get into this,
my heart hurts. I feel like I got punched in the gut.
I got punched in the gut and then kicked when I was on the ground and then spat on and got laughed at. I feel bad.
Yeah, dude. This is tough.
This is tough. Like, this was like your everything. The fact that OP talked so highly about her at the beginning must have been so hard.
Yeah.
Just hype it out.
And
like,
everything was good. Everything was great. And like something was eating at him and he knew.
If your instinct, if your gut, like if your partner that you've known forever is like, this is odd behavior, there's a reason that this is odd behavior. Your gut knows for a reason.
Yeah. Props to the girl.
I was gonna say props to the friend. She probably was friends with the fiance or with OP and knew like this is effed up. Especially when her friend was like, this isn't cheating.
Golly.
The fact that there's video proof is insane.
That is pretty insane. Because people would be on Snapchat like, oh my gosh, you're so crazy, Ashley. Oh my God.
Oh my God, do it for the Vine.
Yeah, and nothing about them going out. I mean, I don't have any problem with my girl going out because I know she trusts me. But if I had an inkling of like, something feels a little off.
Or if she's distancing herself away from me or she's doing it frequently and not inviting me out. Like, if she was inviting me out, like, we're going out. Come on, let's celebrate.
I'd be unsettled a little bit.
Good on the friend. It should have been done a lot sooner, but maybe she didn't want to lose. Yeah, but good on the friend of doing it sooner than later. Me and my fiance share an apartment that we both pay rent for 50-50. I decided to take 2 days off work and covertly started to move my things out to my brother's house across the city. He knows about everything and immediately offered his place to me. The first day I moved non-essential items out, when Ashley got back from work, she made a comment about it. But I brushed it off by saying I sold some stuff and took some more stuff to a storage unit to tidy and clear up space in our apartment.
Okay.
This guy's trying to be sneaky here.
He is. I like this plan.
Let's see if it pays off. She didn't question it. I was furious on the inside about everything that I found out about, but kept cool to avoid suspicion. She noticed I was a bit withdrawn, but I told her I was just tired and stressed from work. The second day, while she was at work, my brother and his wife came over to help me pack everything else, and I was fully moved out by 3 p.m. that day.
Which is when you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap her profile.
I've avoided every single form of communication sent by my ex. I've completely cut her off. I refuse to talk to her or her family. I don't even want to confront her about what happened. She came home that day and saw everything was gone. She texted all my friends and family, who in turn texted me, but I only responded to my parents, who are fully behind me and my decision. Her family and friends are blowing up my phone and saying that I'm an a-hole for leaving without a word. They've even been blasting me on social media. I don't really care. She knows what she did. To me, she is dead. She doesn't exist. Power to do it. Because of all this backlash, my brother and his wife are now also questioning if it was right of me to completely ignore everyone. This has caused me to doubt myself a bit, so here I am. Am I the a-hole? There is an update. An overwhelming amount of people have convinced me to reach out to her parents and give them an explanation to clear my name.
That's solid.
Yeah, you need to at least explain yourself why you're ghosting.
Yeah.
I mean, give it a couple days, sure, but you need to explain yourself. I will update when I get a chance to tomorrow. Thank you for the responses. Here's the update. After an overwhelming amount of people screamed at me in the comments to speak out, I decided to break my silence. I didn't want to make this whole thing public. Despite what she did, some part of me still cares for her. I was with her for 6 years.
Oh.
You can't just throw that away overnight. Like I said, this guy's being torn apart emotionally, and I get it, and mentally. I came to the conclusion that the right thing was to talk to her parents. Only her family needed to know. Everyone else can have whatever opinion they want of me. I don't care. I mean, the people you know you best.
Yeah,
and the people
he's
who
pretty
know
tight
her.
with the family as well.
Yeah. You don't need to care about her side of the,
That's pretty
she's done.
smart.
You're cutting your ties, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The people who truly know me and are close to me are the only ones I care about. Called it. I sent a detailed message of what happened to my closest friends and family. All of them, of course, believed me right away. No pictures needed. I didn't feel like it was necessary or appropriate to spread those pictures of her, so I didn't. So OP still has a little bit, like, he doesn't want to talk to her, but, like, he's respectful.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good on OP.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that the people I cared about were sorted, I moved on to her parents. I messaged her mom, who, by the way, I had gotten so close to, I considered her a second mom, and she considered me a son. Again, she did this to herself, and she's gonna rue the day. You're just, you effed up, girl. And this is gonna be on your conscience for the rest of your life. She was very upset with me, but agreed to meet up. I felt like this needed to be an in-person conversation rather than a nuke I drop in an email with everyone that they know CC'd.
Yeah, it's your second mom. Good choice.
I met her mom and her dad at a diner we used to frequent for breakfast. I know, so cliche. It was quite emotional. They were understandably upset. They didn't do anything wrong, and I cut them out of my life like nothing happened. I understood why they were upset, so when they were confronting me, I was very quiet and just listening, letting them get it all out. I admit I was tearing up with them. That is until they accused me of some things. They accused OP of some things.
Interesting.
It's been a whole week since all of this went down. In that week, a lot happened. Apparently, according to her parents, my ex convinced everyone that I cheated, and she kicked me out, and I haven't been answering anyone because I was so ashamed of what I had done.
Yeah, it's smart to go ahead and like say what happened so they can't spray lies about you, because whatever news you get first is what you believe.
Yeah, what I had done. LOL. I literally laughed out loud. I responded by saying that I'm sorry and I wish them a happy life, and walked out. I was so freaking upset I couldn't even have imagined of being accused of this. What a freaking joke. I can't believe her parents would believe her and throw me under the bus so fast. I walked out because I'm pretty sure I would have said some things I'd regret to her parents. I didn't want to do this, but she left me no choice. I activated the nuclear option.
Oh, boy.
I think we know that option is.
Oh, boy.
I mean.
Oh, no.
Girl, you had his respect, and then you wanted to throw him under the bus and lie about him? You could have just walked away from this. You could have been like, I messed up.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. I went home, made an email titled, "For Your Reading Pleasure."
Oh, no.
And attached every picture her friend sent me, including screenshots of the chat with her friend where she expressed how guilty she felt about the cheating. I also attached the videos of her grinding and making out with other guys. I included a long explanation detailing everything that has happened since D-Day. I ended the email by saying that I do not wish to be contacted and that I expect my ring back at some point. I attached her parents, any friend I could think of, and a coworker that I just so happen to know as well. F it.
Oh my gosh.
Revenge is a best dish served cold.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't have to do it. She literally was like, read him and weep. And he's like, oh, honey, get ready.
Golly.
So that's where I'm at now. I may be the a-hole for sending that email, but she really tested my freaking limits when I found out what she was telling people. I have zero regrets. Currently crashing at my brother's place on the pull-out couch. He's helping me get through this as much as one can, I guess. Who knows what kind of fallout that email will create? Either way, I'm going to sit back and enjoy it with popcorn whilst sobbing.
Aw.
There's a second update.
Oh my gosh.
I want to, dude, this is crazy.
What?
Update number 2. I wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone that reached out to me and offered kind words of support and advice. The reason it took me 2 months to be able to come back here and write an update is because so much has happened in such a short span of time.
Oh boy.
I bet it has, that even I'm having trouble processing it. The fallout after I sent that nuke of an email was catastrophically hilarious.
Oh gosh.
My phone was blowing up with my ex's friends and family asking me tons of questions. Dude, he probably had such a smug like smile, but also like so many tears down his face.
Oh gosh.
Before I had sent that email, everyone was under the impression that I was a cheater and was kicked out. That email not only cleared my name, it basically turned everyone against my ex.
Oh gosh.
Rumors of what had happened started circulating at her job. I attached one of her coworkers to the email, if you remember from my last update. Apparently, she couldn't take the embarrassment and ended up quitting. Her parents were less than impressed and refused to take her back in. They reached out to me and apologized for the way things went down. They recognized that they didn't have all the facts and judged me too quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, if your child comes to you and like, this is what
Yeah,
happened.
you're gonna believe your kid.
You're gonna believe your kid.
Right off the bat.
I'm cool with them now. Could you imagine? Just like, second mom, second dad, we're gonna go get dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna buy me dinner.
That'd be so fun.
We're gonna go have a barbecue.
I would enjoy it.
Yeah, just to rub it in her face. They told me that my ex was struggling to make payments for her half of the rent, which I covertly moved out, and I contacted our landlord and explained the situation. We only had 3 months left on the lease, so I paid my half for those 3 months, so I'm in the clear.
Wow,
dude, you are
holy cow.
You just know how to get like
Dang.
you may be emotionally just not there right now, but boy oh boy, you know how to do revenge.
Ooh.
Honestly, it was worth it, even though I'm not living there. Our mutual friends also didn't take too kindly to being lied to and basically being manipulated to hate OP. From what I've heard, most of our shared friends don't talk to her anymore. Even some of her girlfriends who knew it had been happening behind my back stopped talking to her, which is a little ironic if you ask me.
Yeah.
I guess now that everything was public, no one wanted to be associated with her. And speaking of her friends, remember the one that initially came forward to me about this because she felt so bad?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So we're dating now. Oh my God. He's dropping nukes left and right. This guy, again, he could have just done it. He was like, this is it. We're good. I did my piece. He, bomb after bomb after bomb. He was like, you want revenge? This is revenge. Oh my dude.
I don't know if I would date her, but I mean, hey now, hey, it's been 2 months, I guess. But wow, 2 months after the break, wow. Now I have questions about the friends' motives. Crazy.
This is insane. I guess through all the trauma, drama, and craziness, we started texting more and more. At first, she was just very supportive. She comforted me and helped me come to terms with what had happened.
Oh, I bet she did.
But slowly and surely, we became closer and closer and started to talk about our lives, our interests, our dreams. We realized we had a lot in common. We are also both single and young. It kind of just fell right into it naturally.
I don't know.
Well, that wasn't natural. Let's be honest. This was not natural.
Trauma bond.
But,
okay. That's okay. But I would give it a little bit more time.
Hey, man. I think he just wanted to rub it in more.
Yeah, true.
She's honestly so great. Very kind and loving. I'm aware that some people may think this is just a rebound, but I'm really enjoying my time with her, and things are going great. I feel great.
All right.
Good. Since everything went down, I have had no contact with my ex. I've heard through multiple friends that she's livid that I ghosted her and won't even talk to her. She says what I'm doing to her is torture because I won't even give our relationship closure. Girl, you made the closure. I just laughed because if she thinks what I'm doing is torture, then she's clueless about what she put me through. I'm honestly good. I will go the rest of my life without ever talking to her again. Call me petty, call me dumb, I am who I am, and I feel this is right. So there's a little bit left, Riley. What do you think?
Yeah, great thing to do. If you don't feel comfortable talking to her, you don't have to give her closure. You can give closure whenever you feel comfortable.
No, she did what she did, and she deserved everything. The fact that she said it with her chest, this isn't cheating. She got what she deserved, especially
actions have consequences.
And especially with her lies, I love that she like, I'll lie about it. He's the bad guy.
Wild.
You deserved it.
You deserved it, but yeah, good for you, OP.
Good for you, OP. I think it was maybe a little bit too soon to get back into a relationship, especially with one of her friends. But hey, man, if you're doing great,
keep it up.
Keep it up. You deserve to be happy. As for me, life is looking good. I'm dating an amazing girl. I've gotten so much support from my family and friends. It's nice to see who the real ones are. You know, the ones that actually stuck with me throughout this whole ordeal. And best of all, I feel like I'm really moving on from this whole thing.
Nice.
Hope this update gives you all closure. So many of you messaged me needing an update. It just took me a sec to gather myself to be able to write this in the midst of all the craziness. Take care of yourselves. That's it.
All right.
So he got closure.
He got closure, dude.
He got a new girl, got closure, and made his cheating ex, who lied about everything, a living hell.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it was deserved. I mean, he went about it as maturely as he could have. I mean, he just went and just like, I'm done. I don't want to talk to you. And then doubled down. Like, if you're going to lie about it, I'm going to clear my name, and that whoever wants to believe it, believes it. And boy, oh boy, she definitely got her 2 cents.
Yep. My wife and my best friend betrayed me. I don't know what to do.
Leave them. They're done.
I've been living in a nightmare for more than 2 weeks now. I don't know what to do, and I'm absolutely desperate for advice, which is why I'm posting this. I'll start at the beginning. Apologies for a long post. By the way, this comes from username on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my wife, 41, has been having an affair with one of my best friends. I would call him my second best friend for a year. We have 4 children, 2 of whom are autistic. We've been married for 14 years. She is Canadian but lives with me in England on a marriage visa. My wife and my friend have been getting very close for a few years now, and they've shared interests. Going to the theater together, going to comedy clubs, drinking, partying. They're both extroverts and enjoy having a good time, whereas I am more introverted and prefer to stay at home. He also has 2 kids, 2 boys aged 8 and 12, and our families have known each other and have been incredibly close for about 14 years. My wife and I had a great marriage. We have always felt that we are meant for each other. However, over the years, I've sometimes had a few problems performing in bed, which my wife usually responded quite negatively about, which has made me feel worse about it. I'm probably not quite as overly affectionate with her as she would like. I am definitely affectionate, compliment her, buy her flowers every so often, etc. But I know that she would want more than I give her on this front. Otherwise, our marriage has been genuinely fantastic, and I am shocked that this has happened.
Just bring toys. Toys and communicate. The fact that she's like negative.
Oh my gosh.
What?
No, just, you're fine. I think therapy. I was going to say therapy instead of toys.
I mean, no. Okay. Both our minds went 2 different aspects there. But if that's the one front that's not working, definitely like talk to her and see what you guys can figure out. But yeah.
2 weeks ago, I saw a message pop up on her phone that she left on the couch. It was from my friend saying how beautiful she is and how he's still thinking about the last time they were intimate. When I saw this message, I was so confused and shocked. I kept trying to convince myself that it must have been something else. But because I was suspicious, I checked her maps timeline data that night while she was sleeping, and there was very damaging evidence. The following night, I mustered all my courage and challenged her about this. She denied it over and over, gaslighting me, and then I showed her my evidence, and only then did she finally admit. I begged her for the full truth, and she gave me a version of events that was later, I found out, very watered down. It took more than 5 days to get the full story, and that was mainly from my friend who decided to come clean with me and his own wife, who I told the information to, and she had no idea either. She was absolutely devastated, screaming and crying. All in all, they had spicy sleep 7 times, with the time between the 5th and the 6th time lasting around 5 months, and the whole affair lasting 13 months. They also kissed, held hands, did pretty much more whenever they had the chance of privacy between them, even when families were together. It's also worth saying that their affair started About a week after I found out my mom had been diagnosed with cancer and would have need some invasive treatments, surgery, chemo. And therefore, I was scared about the prospect of losing her. My wife's dad died a few years ago, so did my friends, and of course, stood by them and both fully supported them during this time. It also turned out that she had told my friend and his wife about my performance issues and that she had called me dull and boring. All this talking behind my back also hurt me, as I'd never said anything about our spicy sleep life to anyone, and never said anything bad about her behind her back. On the contrary, I have been her biggest supporter. The boring comment upset me because I work really hard for the family, and I'm involved in a lot of community and political work, which I feel is anything but boring. So
You're not wrong,
He's not wrong.
especially right now.
But I suppose she meant in the sense of not enjoying clubbing, drinking, partying, and being mediocre in bed, because he's an introvert and she's an extrovert.
Yeah. Also, when your mom was diagnosed, your mind's somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, if you're not performing in bed or want to or do anything with spicy,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But the fact that all of this is bad. Your friend sucks. She sucks. But the fact that she didn't want to talk to you, like that was like the main benefactor, is like, oh, he's in bed.
Now I don't know what to do. Should I separate her, divorce her, or try to reconcile and fix our marriage? She wants me to go to therapy and for us to go to couples therapy, both of which I've agreed to. I'm scared to separate and especially divorce because it would devastate my children who are still quite young, 5, 7, 10, and 12. And my 2 autistic children would find the changes in their lives particularly distressing. I am also worried about living a lonely life. I'm the kind of person that needs a partner around them as I get fairly lonely easily. I worry about things like getting ill alone or having an accident. Also, 45 years old, not particularly attractive, whereas she's very attractive and would probably find someone else much more easily than me. There's also the fact that I still deeply care for her and that I already miss the life we had so much. The kids still don't know that we're still living together, but our marriage is only what I can describe as in limbo. She assures me that she never cheated on me with anyone else, although she admitted that she can drink too heavily sometimes when she is out, to the point where she is flirting with other people, but she maintains that she knows she's never crossed the line and that it had only happened with my friend because they developed a strong closeness over the years. But she's telling me that she will never speak to him again and that she is desperately sorry and that she wants to be with me. And you can be with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Tap it.
But we have a little bit more. So I need advice desperately. I'm a total mess and I just don't know what to do. Should I work on the marriage for the sake of stability for the children and the hope that we can get back together where we are before to avoid the fear of being alone? Or should I separate and divorce? Would have been financial consequences for me also, but I've been given the abridged versions here. So if you have any more questions about the details or anything else, then I'll try to elaborate. Thanks so much. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, broken heart, that I'm a huge, huge thank you for the outpouring support and advice, compassion for all that have shown me. I'm truly overwhelmed. Thank you.
Yeah, this is really a hard one.
Probably go to couples therapy, see how you really feel.
But
that's my advice.
I would say try and just, I wouldn't want to forgive her. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't, especially if it was like one time.
But
maybe.
he still very cares much about her.
100%. But does she reciprocate that? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? But I let us know. I say try and talk things out, but see where it goes.
Yeah.
I don't want to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, true.
My husband's girlfriend wants to stay with us permanently. I'm having second thoughts.
I would maybe have, second, third, maybe fourth thoughts, and I would discuss them.
Ooh, let's go to 12. Let's run it up. So, editor's note, Metamore is someone who is dating one of your partners. So, my husband, male 33, and I, female 34, have been together for 12 years and married for 7. We also have a kid who is 2. By the way, this comes from Fluid Background 227. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit and send it in. So, my husband has been open about the fact that some of his previous relationships were polyamorous, and we have always been open to general ethic non-monogamy. For example, we used to go to spicy sleep parties together, and some other examples. Fast forward to 6 months ago, when a friend of his came to the end of her marriage and quite urgently needed somewhere to stay, so we took her in. That was all well and good at first, and they were very close, but so were the 3 of us. There were nights when we all slept in the same bed because she couldn't face sleeping in her own. There were also nights when my husband slept in the bed with her at my suggestion because, again, she couldn't handle sleeping alone, but I struggled to share a bed with the 3 of us just because of space. Wifey gave the okay. Mutually agree, mutual spicy
There we
spring.
go.
Now, however, the topic of poly did come up a bit further down the line as a genuine option. So they started spending every Friday night together. And honestly, I was genuinely happy about this. This started as a nominally friends with benefits thing, but naturally progressed into a relationship. I honestly don't think I have any issue with him seeing her, but the problem I am facing is that they want to live together as three forever. Get a bigger house and then do this permanently, and I can't tell you why, but I'm really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. On the other hand, my husband's mental health has always been really bad, but since his girlfriend or friend with benefits,
Since my husband's girlfriend.
yeah, there we go, lived here and there have been more of us around, it has been a lot better. So I really don't want to take this away from him. Really don't want to. So I have to find some ways towards happiness for myself in this. Even though I work from home and they both work out of the house, I never feel like I'm on my own anymore somehow, because wherever I look, there are reminders that it's the three of us now. So I just feel permanently not at ease in my own home, and I don't know how to get past that. Also, she really wants us to move houses so that way we can have somewhere bigger, but also so it doesn't feel like our house that she's living in, rather something that we have as equals. And I really don't want to transition to potentially having less time with my husband than I do right now.
Do I sense some miscommunication happening here?
Miscommunication of no communication. At the moment, he's in my bed 4 nights a week and in her bed for 2 nights. And then we share the bed one night, all three of us. We bought a bigger bed so that we could do this. It has to be said that I really like his friend with benefits a lot of the time, and one of my hopes is that if she and I work on our relationship and get closer, this will get easier for me.
Or it could never get easier because it's just something you foundationally don't want. You want a marriage, not a threerage, or whatever you call it. I don't know.
That's a great new term. Marriage. Take that,
Frarage.
poly community. It's for you. But at the moment, I'm losing the home that I thought I would grow old in, and I am worried I am losing half of my husband. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm so worried right now. Because in relevant comments, Aimless Sad Person says, I can't tell you why, but I'm really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. Not that you need a reason for not having someone else to move into your home, but unless I'm reading things wrong, it kind of seems like they kind of assumed it had happened instead of asking you how you felt about a roommate. That is a great call out. This also doesn't seem like a good idea anyways. They've only been together for a short time, so not only would moving in not be sound, but she just got out of a marriage. Boom. If you're worried about your husband needing to split time between you two, that is a reality of having multiple relationships. Is that something you'd be okay with? Because this all just seemed to happen, and I'm wondering if you ever had the time to truly process and consider if this is right for you, to which OP responds, I'm under a lot of pressure to make this work for me. My husband has not ever been truly happy in a long while, and having both of us around has transformed his mental health. I've expressed my worry that just swapping around which of us is unhappy isn't progress, even acknowledging that I'm not as happy as he was. But long term, might I be? But there doesn't seem to be a middle ground he can consider. I'm hoping some support from poly friend therapist will help us to articulate the needs and find a workable middle ground here.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story. Aimless Sad Person replies again, your husband's happiness shouldn't be so dependent on everyone cohabitating, to be honest. Of course he's happy right now. Him lending a friend a helping hand out of their marriage ended up with him having a live-in girlfriend with his wife's permission. Say it for the
This
people in the
guy's
back.
walking around the house going, score all day long.
Yeah. Bro is on cloud 9 right now, and you have to deal with the consequences. Not that he shouldn't rely on those close to him. I have mental issues myself, but it's not you or his friend with benefits' job to keep him well, especially when it's at the cost of your happiness. A good husband, partner, person would understand that, depressed or not. Also, neither of you should be playing the oppression Olympics. Not the most apt term, but you know. Don't think about who's less happy than the other. Your husband's mental health needs treatment, not another partner in a complex and unplanned living situation. At the end of the day, it's the home you share with your husband and your child.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's,
God.
that's complicated. Hi, Auntie. Why is Auntie and Daddy having special sleepy times? Yay! Oh, little Timmy, watch out.
None of my other aunties do that with my uncle or my dad.
I'm so okay. He's not going to know who's who or what's what.
You see, little Timmy, Daddy has some needs. At the end of the day, it's the home you share with your husband and your child. In my opinion, this should always be a 2 yeses and 1 no sort of situation. You have the right to choose who lives with you. Wandmerk says, unfortunately, it really seems like you're at an impasse here. Have you made it clear that you're not interested in this to your husband? Opie says, I have really tried, but he's very clear that this is absolutely what he has needed for a long time. Not just being poly, that's fine, but also all of us living together. I think I've at least got across my very strong reservations. Now we are going to try to put everything we have into how we can generally make this work. Seeing a poly-friendly therapist together as a 3 as well in various pairs, according to me and his friend with benefits, dude, they're going to be just swapping around. So funny.
Yeah, that's, again, not complex or hard to navigate whatsoever.
So expensive too. And doing the work to find a balance together and separate the bits of life that actually work for us. Wandmerk says, what about your needs though? Your needs. Opie says, I really want to learn to compromise. There are a lot of ways. I've got my own way over the years, and it's fair that I at least give this my best shot. Tora Ryder says, but why are you the only one compromising? Opie says, I don't know. I really need to find ways to stand my ground. Everything gets turned around on me when we start talking about it, so I think I may genuinely need the therapist there to help me communicate here. And to a deleted reply, she's been living here for 6 months already since before they got together. So we have a big, fat, juicy update, dude. But let's talk again. I feel like those relevant comments and OP's responses have made it even more abundantly clear that husband's getting 100% of what he wants, OP is getting 0, and that's it.
And OP is just like trying to figure out a way to be like, and I'm okay with this.
How do I force myself?
While really not being okay about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. I know I've been in this kind of situation in a relationship, not in the context of poly, but like,
right.
Like, you know that there's something that you kind of want to say or should say, but you also have that innate knowledge that when you say it, things are going to change like forever.
Yes.
And might be over.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can either then like live a lie, which is harder than that.
Exactly.
Or you can just like, you know, be honest and move through the relationship in the truth, which is what you have to do when you're in poly.
Yeah. Cohabitating just got harder and harder, and I was getting less and less of my husband's love, attention, and even compassion. A friend then bought a house, and my husband was going to live there 2, then 3, then even 5 nights a week. Nothing I said was right anymore. I was the villain, apparently uncompassionate, selfish, a bad communicator, not seeing it from my husband's or the friend with benefits point of view. I was increasingly excluded in my own life. And unsurprisingly, about 6 weeks ago, my husband ended our marriage. Thank God it's over.
Yeah.
Thank God it's over, dude. Now, ostensibly for other reasons about our relationship, but it may surprise you not at all to learn that he is now moving in with the friend in the house she bought. I am now not on speaking terms with her at all after some increasingly manipulative behavior from both of them, but especially her. By the way, if you never want to be manipulated and you want a master guide on how to never be gaslit or have anything bad to you in terms of emotional manipulation happen, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, search OK Storytime, listen to the episodes. It's full episodes, ladies and gentlemen. But we have an update number 2. Any quick thoughts before we dive into that?
Shout out to OP's husband for low key, like doing the things she needed to do for her, because it's like, it's just not going to work
It's not gonna
if
work.
you're unhappy on a fundamental level like that with something like that.
Update number 2. So I posted here ages ago about my husband and his girlfriend essentially putting a lot of pressure on me to be poly. It's not enough for you to want it. You have to actually want it rather than in any way acknowledging that I didn't. It was bloody awful. I couldn't do it. It's not who I am. And no matter how I tried to say that, they weren't having it. In the end, my husband broke up with me ostensibly not because of me not wanting to be poly, but I mean, it was absolutely that. His girlfriend is hugely manipulative and had swung him from being deeply in love with me to completely not, and thinking I am a terrible person within the space of a year, a world record. I've got my faults. To be sure, but I didn't deserve any of this. I've been doing a lot of work on myself to identify and understand what happened to me and the way my husband abused and manipulated me. Part of me is also concerned that the girlfriend is also effectively doing the same thing to my ex, but that's his problem, not mine.
Yes.
There we go. Now we're getting there.
Not
Now
your
we're getting
monkey,
there.
not your circus.
There it is. So I've recently met the girlfriend's monogamous ex, and that has been eye-opening. It feels like she's got a playbook. She treats her ex badly, and it's similar to me and debatably to my ex. My ex has also been controlling over the years. I've been so much healthier out of the situation, and it's better for me.
Yes.
I'm heartbroken for losing what I thought was a happy marriage and for being so disillusioned about what I thought we had. This has really pulled the wool from my eyes. And it's awful being away from very small kids half the time. I'm hyper vigilant about their welfare and I'm so worried for them, but they seem to be okay. In short, I have to accept that some of you are happy and healthy and in good poly relationships. But if that's not your experience, if it's being used by your partner or their partner to have their cake and eat it, ooh, if you're not happy, listen to your gut, listen to your heart, listen to your friends, and get out. The sooner you escape, the less I hope you might get hurt. Yes.
My wife came out as queer after being caught having an affair.
Convenient timing.
Some would say perhaps even dubious timing.
Ooh, dubious indeed.
2 weeks ago, my wife came out as the L in LGBTQ. To say that I'm confused, hurt, upset, and possibly even relieved is an understatement. And by the way, this comes from user Average Bald White Guy. And if you want to submit your own stories, go do it at the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, earlier this month, my wife told me she wanted to disconnect for a little while. I chalked it up to a midlife crisis of sorts. She had turned 30 last year and was depressed about how she felt her life had not lived up to her expectations. For example, she had a bunch of things she wanted to do by 30, but never did. I agreed to allow her to disconnect because I just wanted her to be happy. She started hanging out with other women, including one with whom she previously worked. In the meantime, she would practically ignore me. On one weekend, she and the former coworker went out to a Spicy Men Club and then to Disney World the following day. I had my suspicions when I saw the coworker slowly pull her truck up to the house as if she was trying not to be seen. I eventually looked at my wife's phone and saw text messages between them. Flirty messages at that. Nothing explicit, but definitely flirty. I wondered if my wife was having an affair. She had previously identified herself as bi to me when we first started dating. I spoke to my wife several times without directly asking about my affair suspicions, and she didn't really say anything to me. You're like, I didn't really ask her directly, and she told me nothing. Flash forward to 2 weeks ago. I cornered my wife in our kitchen before work and told her I didn't like how she was treating me. She broke down and cried hysterically and uttered the two words I never thought I would hear. I'm the L in LGBTQ. Well, that was unexpected. She said that she knew she was this way since she was 8, but she was too afraid to say anything. Her mother, a deeply religious woman, would have likely disowned her. Plus, even in this time and age, coming out of the closet is still a hard thing to do. I told my wife that I still loved her and I would not just remove her from our house, and I encouraged her to seek counseling. I've done so as well. Make no mistake, I have no illusions about our marriage anymore. It's over. The only thing keeping us married is the marriage license. But I'm now dealing with this tremendous range of emotions. Relief. I now know what's going on. She is just not hetero. She wasn't cheating on me, or so she says. And if she was, hey, it's with another woman.
Not as bad.
OP, unbothered. Hey, I like it. Okay. Anger. How could she keep this hidden from me? Why didn't she tell me 4 years ago when we first started dating, or 3 years ago when I proposed to her, or 2 years ago when we got married? Lack of trust. I'm pretty sure something was going on between the coworker and my wife before she came out to me. I know they're now in a relationship. Hurt. I am heartbroken. My wife was someone I thought I would spend my entire life with. We even discussed having children. I was so in love with her and she made me a better person. And now I fear I will be alone. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. The problem is there's not much out there when it comes to men whose wives came out of the closet. Again, I'm in counseling and my wife and I are being open and honest with each other, but what else could I do? I know that we're getting divorced or annulled. What do I tell my parents? I don't want to out my wife, but I don't want to lie to my parents either. Am I doing the right thing in not punting my wife out of the house? Am I being too supportive and nice? Should I be an a-hole? I've got so many emotions flying here and I simply don't know what to do. And there is an update. However, buddy, I gotta say, don't just be an a-hole now.
Yep. Which, I mean, he isn't yet. I understand how he's like, am I being too much? But I think it's phenomenal that he's kind of, it's almost like he's like looking at it as a third party in a way.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, look, I'm not going to get you out of the house, right? Like, we still share this life together. It's an upheaval to do this. I, feel for you that you went through this thing. Obviously, I hurt myself and all these other things. But I think there's a world where it's like, hey, let's like figure out the next steps together. Let's figure out how to get you to a new place as quickly, but also, safely and effectively for you as possible. So I can move on with my life too. I think it's that. I think it's coming together and working as a team. You still care about each other. I think do that, right?
Yeah. Wonderfully said. There's no need to get nasty.
Yeah.
Let's get into this update.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
It has been a few days since I reached out to Reddit for help and advice about my problem. I have seen a therapist twice about this whole sordid thing, and I've reached out to good friends for support. My wife and I have also talked about how we are and where we're going. I don't have all the answers yet about why this is happening to me, besides the fact that my wife doesn't date men anymore. But for the first time in a long time, I do feel good and upbeat. My response to this life-changing event has surprised me. I haven't lashed out in anger, caused any damage, destruction, or harm. I've been level-headed and I've handled, not ignored, the emotions as they come. And I've chosen to take this time to make myself a better person. My wife has yet to see her therapist, and I don't think it's right for us to start making major decisions until she gets a chance to have her issues examined as I did to mine. However, I acknowledge and accept that our marriage is over, which is good. She no longer sleeps in the same bed as I. She instead spends time between the couch at my house and her girlfriend's apartment. I've told my wife that I no longer see us as a husband and wife. I also don't wear my wedding band constantly anymore. Perhaps you're wondering why I'm even wearing it at all. Good thought. I wear it mainly because I do not want to misrepresent myself to someone who could be a future partner. We are still technically married, and I know I wouldn't want to pursue a relationship with someone who hasn't legally ended theirs yet, which is,
Goated.
Again,
This guy is the greatest. He should be sitting in his seat.
he has cracked the code.
Wow.
And he's like, there's not a lot of resources out there for men whose wives leave them for other women. It's like, buddy, you're becoming the blueprint for how to deal with it.
So true.
So my wife, however, seems to have the opposite point of view because she's already in a relationship with her new girlfriend. But I'm not going to play that game. Plus, my wife isn't out of the closet fully. We have mutual friends at work. If someone sees me without my wedding ring, what will they think? I'm not about to start any rumors or say something until I am dang well ready. Hey, and don't get me wrong, I know a split is inevitable. And I'm not about to think that our marriage can be saved. It cannot. She is one way, I am not. Do the math, people. Honestly, I'm not ready for any new relationships yet. I must still mend my broken heart and then take that time to be happy with me again before I can be happy with another. I know love will come again. After all, I'm an educated man in good shape with my own home in a nice neighborhood.
That's Hawk OP. The most well-adjusted man on planet Earth.
Dude, truly the blueprint. We should call this story The Blueprint.
Truly the blueprint, bro.
My God. And I also have a job that pays pretty well. Allow me to toot my own horn and say I am one effing incredible catch. Well, at least your confidence is certainly way up there.
Yes.
Some of you have wondered why I'm acting so calm and collected, especially in light of my wife's decision to be in love with another woman. Getting angry is not going to solve anything. I can scream, smash, and break things and act out, but what is that going to do to solve anything in the long run? I can work out my emotions in healthy and productive ways. Acting out is only going to defeat Me, I must be the strong, level-headed person in this situation. I will still deal with my emotions as they come, but I will do so in a way that helps me be a better person. Do I worry about a messy divorce? Not really. While I hope for the best, I do prepare for the worst. My family is very protective of each other, and should things go south, I know they will be there to support me and to make sure I come out on top. Besides, the house is in my name, as is the new car in the driveway. My wife also cannot really afford anything but an amicable divorce. We also want an amicable split. Finally, a word about my wife. I wish things were not the way they are now, but that's just fate. She is going to make her decisions and live with the consequences. I will likewise do the same. But I would be lying if I didn't say my wife helped me become a better person over the past few years. Yes, I made the decision to be a better person, but she was the catalyst. I still consider her a very good friend, and in fact, as I think about it, I think we were destined to be best friends and not husband and wife. Hey, better late than never, huh? I want the best for her, and I know she wants the best for me too. She is still upset over the pain she has caused me. And if you want to listen to full episodes with stories like this, you can scamper your little master chef feet. I mean, well, you don't really have to walk anywhere. All you need is a device where you can listen to podcasts.
Yep.
Be it a phone or a tablet or a PC, whatever and wherever. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime with your little tip-tap fingers, and you will have literally a month and a half's worth of stories to listen to.
Bingo. This is just the greatest, most self-assured, self-confident, non-egotistical, just beautiful man I've ever seen.
Truly. I expected this story to go south.
Yep.
Very hard.
Yep.
And it did not.
He came close. He's like, guys, should I be more angry? Should I da-da-da? And then he just doubled down on being the greatest human who is. This man is Jesus.
He did.
This is literally Jesus.
For those of you who offered your opinions and your advice, thank you so much. It means a lot to know that I am not alone and that I will make it through this with my mind and body intact. I plan to share my journey with you as I forge ahead. It's going to be a long, strange trip, but I'm eager about what lies ahead for me. God bless you all. And for the atheists, may Gene Rayburn smile upon you. And that is the end of that story.
He even thought of the atheist.
This
man is the greatest of all time, bro.
Wow. My wife caught feelings for another man. Is our marriage over?
Analyzing, potentially.
My wife, who I'll refer to as M.
Mary
and I have had some real struggles this year. It started on March 24th, shortly after we decided to try and have a baby, and she had an ectopic pregnancy which had to be removed via emergency surgery. We found out that she was pregnant on a Tuesday and went in for an ultrasound on that Friday, only to end up in the hospital for 12 hours after finding out it was ectopic and the surgery had to be done. By the way, this comes from user Tsunami5889, and if you want to submit your own stories, go do so at the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, since then, things just haven't been the same. Neither one of us probably emotionally processed this well, though we did our best to surround ourselves with loved ones for support. We should have talked about it together or with a therapist, I know. Yeah, that's a lot to compute solo style. Like, you probably wanted a little counseling to get through that. It's just a lot to deal with. Fast forward to August, and I've unexpectedly been let go from my job, which was a huge hit to my self-confidence, something I already struggle with. This really ignited my anxiety, and I admit I've really been struggling with it since. I kept turning to Mary for support, but she was so wrapped up in her own stresses and anxieties that she wasn't emotionally available for me. Amidst all of this, she had been growing close to a mutual friend from church, 50s male, married with several kids. I had noticed how much they talked and laughed together, and every Sunday morning, she would just spend all her time with him. I brought this up to her a few times as my past traumas from relationships were being triggered, and I told her it genuinely seemed like they were flirting, and it hurt to see it. She immediately dismissed it, told me I was being paranoid, and that it upset her that I wasn't more secure. I see you.
I see 2.
This is just a bad situation for everybody. I've been trying to push down those feelings since and feel more secure, but they still come up, and I've been trying to address them with her. This has been causing a bit of a rift since probably November, and we haven't been intimate and connecting even though I've been trying to find ways to, like suggesting dates, trying to plan trips so we can just focus on us, etc. Amidst the holidays, this all kind of got lost, but we kept having arguments and tiptoeing around each other. Finally, it came to a point where she said I should see a therapist because she couldn't handle my anxiety and paranoia. As of this week, I have started therapy, and quick note, I think it's unfair for her to say that it just should have been you.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, it needed to be joint probably.
Yeah.
Since that discussion, I have been feeling much better, introspective, figuring out my triggers, our attachment styles, looking into love languages, all that good stuff. And I've tried to engage her in conversations about all these things, but she would just give a casual and not really participate. So it got to a point where last weekend I tried to figure out why she was so standoffish, and she said she wasn't ready to discuss it. So we set a time for today to really dig deep on everything going on. So this morning we sat down. I had written out several paragraphs describing some of my discoveries, apologizing for not being as emotionally available, and trying to lay out some steps for us to connect more, including couples therapy.
Nice. Good on OP.
Indeed. She thanked me, said she genuinely appreciated all of it, but her next response was not what I expected. She basically flat out said that she felt our issues were beyond repair.
What?
I mean, the ectopic pregnancy, and low key, I feel like she's got feelings for the guy from church, which is giving her more doubt as to the viability of her current relationship.
Yeah, but that's not even that's not an OP. That's just on this dire situation that everything's going around, like the situation at hand. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate, hand that you were dealt, but you just don't take that on your husband, who's also, keep in mind, he just got let go from his job.
That's right.
Everyone, of course, the mood's gonna be pretty sad around the house, which sucks.
I think it's kind of a weird move to say that before doing the couples therapy or even trying couples therapy.
I think it's a effed up move.
Well, I think maybe in context, it could be maybe just a very honest, vulnerable moment. Depending on the delivery, I think our brains immediately go to her just being like, I just don't think this is going to work. But I think if she's more like from a place of concern, being like, I really don't know if we can make it out of that. It's like, all right, well, we can bring that to the couples counseling. So she said she's felt like this for years, apparently. Yeah, yes, we've had some communication issues, but to me, these are things that are with the right tools and a third party, things we can try to work out. On top of that, though, she started to say that she's been feeling like we only got married because it's, quote, what we were supposed to do. I have never felt that way, and this rocked me to my core to hear that.
So she was forced into this, it seems like. Again, it's pointing the finger at you.
Sounds like you. I'm going to go ahead and say it, OP. You got to get out. It's time to get out. I don't know if you can save that.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
Finally, she added the final layer. That guy from our church that I had been paranoid about, she feels like she's in love with him.
Oh, no, honey. Don't worry about him.
I hate being right.
I hate people who just lie and just don't communicate any of their feelings.
Nothing has happened between the two, and he has no idea that she's in love with him, apparently. But to hear that broke my heart so much. Deep down, I don't think she actually loves him. I think that I wasn't emotionally available as she needed at times, and she found some of that comfort in talking to him. Beyond that, I know this guy pretty well, and I don't think he'd leave his wife of 20 or so years for this. Yeah. So
it's a facade. It's just, again, she found something that where both you and herself were in a dark time. She couldn't find any happiness, and she found it in this one guy, and it's all in her brain.
I tried to explain this to her, and that I still think we can work past these things with a couples therapist, but she is so confused that she's coming across as determined there's nothing we can do. She ended up going to spend the night at a friend's after 3 hours of us talking, and we're supposed to find time to regroup tomorrow. So is there anything I can say to open the door to keep discussing therapy at least? I do love her very much, and I know she cares for me. I can't even fathom losing her, our relationship, our house, our family ties, etc. But also, how can I get past her letting me know she feels this way about our relationship and about someone else? So we have some comments. Number one is she's cheating on you, at least emotionally, if not physically, with a late middle-aged married guy with kids. If they haven't done it yet, this freight train is headed there fast. In addition, she has told you that she's checked out. My advice is make all her dreams come true and set her free to pursue Prince Charming. The sooner the better, no kids, and short of 10 years. Depending on the state, things will get more expensive after 10 years. Be sure to tell his wife she'll break things up real quick. When things fall apart for her, she'll come crawling back all remorseful and do not take her back. I feel like that's the vengeful, this kind of spiteful way to go. I feel like OP is not really in that lane. And I think there's a lot going on emotionally and psychologically that could be addressed in therapy, and maybe some actual headway could be made. But again, what you said, Keon, if she's not willing to meet you there, then there's
no point.
What are you going to do? Like put her in handcuffs and bring her to therapy?
No,
you can't do that.
You're talking to pretty much a brick wall. It's unfortunate.
Comment 2, I would say to get a couples therapist ASAP, but if she is genuinely disinterested in continuing your marriage, then there's really nothing that can be done. You can read all the books, but you can't drag her along behind you on your journey. She has a fantasy that she can't act on as it doesn't sound reciprocated, so it's become safe for her to sit in that and pretend that it's a connection that fulfills her. While this may be coming from not being fulfilled, it doesn't sound like it's actually going to be with that guy. All you can do is speak to what you want going forward and hear what she wants going forward. Know that working on the marriage is a 2-yes situation, but divorce isn't. So digging your heels in, if she's checked out, doesn't do anything. Regardless, it is time to change churches. That's kind of funny. Comment 3, Bud, seriously, that bloke at the church is a scumbag. He should be helping to fix things, not drive a bigger wedge in it. Which, guys, I don't even think, like OP said, I don't even think this guy's aware that
I don't
that's
think this
the
guy's
case.
aware.
So let's hold off on the church guy with the wife and kids.
For now, he's on. We got a watchful eye on him.
She has clearly been emotionally cheating, and sadly, it appears she's checked out. If she's not willing to communicate and have the difficult conversations, you'll need to start the process. Maybe that will snap her out of it. I'm not sure, but there is an update. I'm thinking it ends in divorce. I'm just thinking, I just don't think she's going to meet him in the middle.
I don't think so either. It seems like she's so checked out that maybe she gives it one more chance, but even then, it's like everything's been said and done, and the thought process has been there, especially not after months, but after multiple years. This is like the biggest comeback.
There's just a lot going on.
You're doing a really big comeback if you can do this and salvage the marriage, but that's so hard.
Well, let's see what happens. Here's the update. First off, thank you all for the thoughts and comments. I feel more at peace with how everything has gone down, largely thanks to some of the things you have said. The next day was full of more calls, talks with others, distracting myself, and generally just waiting for her to finally contact me so we could talk. I had hopes that she might at least be open to discussion, but when we finally did sit down and talk, she was very brief. In short, she said she made her decision and that it was over. She reinforced that she wasn't leaving me for someone, but regardless, there was little discussion after that, short of what the next week looks like for us. She's back at her friends for now, while I'm in the house sorting some things out and lining up a place for me to stay long term. It would just be a clean break with everything, and I'm definitely at a point where I'm just looking forward to a new chapter. And I'm glad that OP seems to be.
It's a sad path to look at, but that's the only thing you can do.
All you can do is start to accept your situation.
I'm glad OP's not playing the what if game.
It's true.
That what if game is a terrible game, and you always lose.
Sometimes it just is what it is. It is what it is. And by the way, I have something that is what it is, and it's full episodes with stories like this.
Really?
Yes, and all you need to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, and search OK Storytime, and there you will find them.
Nice.
So I think, we've got a little bit more story here. I think we've pretty much hit all our
it's
points.
It's one of those unfortunate scenarios where you just don't do the tango anymore, and you just do a solo dance.
Yeah, it just feels like they're just not at the same place. Honestly, it was curtains as soon as she said, "I've felt like this for years."
And it was definitely closed curtains when she said, "No, I don't think," like, she just put in zero effort to salvage your relationship. Zero. And she might, like, after some time apart, it's very possible, like the comment said, she might come back and like, "Hey, I've thought things through. I think I want to try and do this.
I think clearly, regardless of
Yeah,
whether they stay together or not, counseling is necessary for both of them.
Yeah, if it's not together, it's apart.
All right, let's finish this story. As far as the other guy goes, a pastor from our church that I know well and had been talking to the last few days about this, all thought that now that it's done, we should let the other guy know. He had zero idea that's how she was feeling and was regretful of his part in this, though unintentional. Some have pointed out that he might have known, and even if he didn't mean to, he might have enjoyed the attention, but I'm going to try to be optimistic. I know his family, and I don't want anything bad for them. And guys, it's possible for a man and a woman to have friendly conversation
100%.
without it having any ulterior motives.
He really, like, in her brain, he thought he was, Prince Charming. In his brain, he'd be like, I'm just being friendly to a girl that I know is going through a rough time.
He's like, wow, what a great church community I have. Yeah. I'm glad I can be there for a member of my congregation.
Yeah.
Like, and the internet immediately goes, oh, he'd be cheating on his wife.
Yeah, no.
Come on, guys.
We have it. It's the guilty until proven.
Right, guilty until proven innocent.
Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah.
Like I said, at this point, I'm just ready for this to be done, to cut her out and just move on. So here's to a new and better beginning in 2025. And that is the end of that story.
I caught my 2 married friends cheating, so I exposed them.
Double whammy.
Hello, Reddit. This is a complicated story, so I will try to explain it the best I can. I, female 25, play a web MMORPG video game. There, I've met many people. I became friends with many, and I've actually met some in real life and consider them close friends. This video game is where I met my boyfriend, male 28. By the way, this comes from user LuckySeraph623 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, this story begins 2 years ago on October 2022. Spooky season, when my boyfriend's friends were planning a gathering in our city. At the moment, one of them, male 30, let's call him Jack, had been talking to a girl in one of the games. Female 32, let's call her Chris, for a while, and had experiencing feelings for her. The issue is that Jack has been married for 8 years and has 2 children under 7 years old. Jack is from our city, but moved to the US many years ago. However, Chris is from our city and was planning on meeting her during the game gathering. The host, male 32, of the event told Jack that he didn't want Chris near his house because he is a firm believer of loyalty.
Let's go.
Besides, the host had already met Jack's wife and he felt it was messed up to be a part of the betrayal. In the end, Jack was trying to convince the host to receive her just for the first day of the meeting. In that moment, Jack asked for my advice about the topic and what to do, and I was honest with him. For me, loyalty is very black and white. I told him that he really liked Chris. He should tell his wife and open their marriage or divorce, but to talk about it first.
There we go.
He said divorce was not a possibility due to his children and decided he was not going to try anything with Chris since she wasn't worth all what he was going to lose. Back to the day of the meeting. They arrived together to the house of the host. Jack told the boys in some point of the party that they had already hooked up before the party. As hard as it was for me, it was not my issue and had to move on. After all, Chris became part of our group of friends. We ended up meeting more people from the game and she was already part of the group. I learned that she's also married with Tom. Tom is male 33.
So Chris is married?
So Chris is married and Jack is married. Even when all of us have talked about inviting their respective partners, we have never met neither Jack nor Chris's partner, and that relief of the guilt had to be honest. I couldn't tell for sure if they were really cheating since no one had seemed to do anything. In one of our meetings in January 2023, we gathered at Jack's house in our city. Yes, he flies here just to see Chris. At some point of the night, I saw both of them going to the kitchen and my beverage was also empty. So after a couple of minutes, I went inside and caught them making out. He was holding 2 of her arms above her head against the wall and had another of his hands on her waist inside her shirt while they were kissing. I was shocked, just closed my eyes and cursed in my head, and they both ran away from the kitchen and never said a word to me. I told my boyfriend what I saw and he was disappointed also. We have never had the proof that they were doing things, so we thought it could be them just being flirty. After asking for advice to people who don't know them, we got to the point where maybe we should just let it slide and I should just not get involved. And again, I hadn't met their respective partners, so the guilt did not feel personal.
OP, it's gonna be hard, but you have to do the right thing.
Everything changed in April 2023. Chris, another girl from the group, and I had a sleepover at Chris's house, so I ended up meeting Chris's partner, and that's when the guilt really hit me. I felt really awful during the whole night. Tom turned to be a really nice guy and was consistently showing the love he feels for her. I can't describe how loving and caring he is for her. The only thing I could think of is that Chris is constantly cheating on Tom with Jack. During the same night, I made the mistake to share some personal details about myself. An ex-boyfriend who I also met in the game was threatening me to share my personal photos on the internet just for fun. I was already taking legal actions, but I was really anxious and afraid, so I really needed to talk and ended up sharing this with the girls. Back to the main story. My boyfriend kept telling Jack that he was really messing up by cheating on his wife. Jack was the one who always started the conversation, and in some point, he confessed to me that his wife is also cheating on him, so that's why he doesn't care about it. He decided he was going to do whatever he wanted when he found out his wife was cheating. What is this?
What are we reading right now?
What game are we playing? After some months, Jack kept flying to our city every 2 to 3 months to see Chris. The excuse was that he came to visit us. At some point, her husband and his wife ended up meeting us. At some point, we met with their respective partners, Jack and Chris's partners, and that's when my boyfriend also felt the enormous guilt. He got along so well with Tom. He said he was so nice, charming, and caring for her. He couldn't understand either how she could do this to him. I talked about it many times with my boyfriend, but we didn't have any proof besides what I saw. Some other drama happened. At some point, we thought that they had finally stopped, but we were wrong. A few days ago, my boyfriend and I hosted the party for Christmas. For a quick background, since I started to live alone before moving in with my boyfriend, my dad gifted me a security camera. Since then, I've had one in my house, and when we moved in, we placed the camera inside our apartment facing the entrance. Our apartment is small, so the camera's view is just the door, the kitchen table, and the dishwasher. We usually check in on our dogs with it and use it for safety, but to be honest, we always forget about it. The party was outside our apartment, and at some point, Jack and Chris were inside the house for a longer period of time, but I didn't think much about it. What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't think much about it? That the two people who are literally cheating on their partners? OP, you're kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, OP, you're the a-hole here. You've been the a-hole since you first known about it.
After a while, I started to pick up some unused stuff and took them inside. I saw Jack, Chris, and another friend on my way in when Jack stopped me to ask me if the camera was a working security camera, and I said, yeah. He asked, what did we use it for? And I said, for both security and watching over our dogs. He looked like he wanted to say something else and had a face like he was worried, and so did Chris. He asked, why did it speak? And I said that it had a motion tracker and that he configured it to say, hello, welcome, when it detected a person. He said nothing more, so I kept doing my own thing.
He's like, he wants to get caught too.
Yeah. He's like, I need someone to just put it out there. Obviously, I instantly thought about the possibility of them getting recorded while kissing. I didn't care much about it in that moment. However, the rest of the night, both of them were acting very strange. They were constantly going to a corner to speak. At some point, they were inside for around 10 minutes with the excuse of doing a dip for nachos. Excuse me, guys. I gotta go take a dip for nachos. After that, they went outside and I heard her say, just do it fast and clean, but don't face it directly. And that's when I thought they were going to do something to the camera and went inside a minute after him. The camera was only unplugged and I laughed a little, and that's when I told my boyfriend what was going on. He was a bit mad that they were trying to mess with our stuff and asked me to plug it in and check if it was okay before they left. I plugged it back in and started to check at the recordings, and what I found shocked me. I found the moment that they were passionately kissing, only that luckily, but also found that the moment they were trying to mess with the camera, and that kind of pissed us off. Not only did they not care about being in our house and making us part of their cheating, but they were also messing around with our stuff. We also talked about the fact that they thought that they had stopped cheating on their respective partners for at least 2024, and we caught them cheating again. We instantly thought about Tom and that how he really deserves to know that his wife has been cheating on him for the last 2 years.
We thought like it was about time you knew.
OP, you and your boyfriend suck. Everyone but Tom here sucks.
But we don't know. We could have an unreliable narrator on Jack's wife.
Or Jack. I don't know. It is really hard because we've seen the amount of effort, time, money that Tom puts into the relationship, and we really believe that it shouldn't be like that.
Why didn't you? Oh, God.
You should have said that in the first freaking place. The poor guy is living in a lie, and he's the only one who doesn't know. We also know that they both have always wanted kids, but due to issues with her being infertile, he gave up on his dream of being a dad in order to be with her. I don't have the power to yell. I'm still recovering from a sickness, but I want to scream at the top of my lungs at how stupid you are, OP. Chris has diabetes, and Tom is always being extra cautious with her food, like buying her sugar-free ketchup, or having no sugar in the house, buying sugar-free snacks for both, etc. It is a really complex situation, and I know it is not my place to judge, but he really deserves to know the whole story. Another thing that is keeping me from telling him is the fear of her going to my ex and asking him to post my pictures, which is a very high possibility. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? I've told my thoughts. I've sprinkled this all throughout. But my thoughts are, you are a scumbag. You should have told this a long time ago. This is just all muffled and everyone sucks here. I've said it. Everyone's gross here. The fact that Tom is just a generously good guy and you're like, oh, it's not my place.
He's a good guy.
Long story short, we decided to tell Tom. Even
God.
if it had repercussions against me.
Oh, so they were afraid something would happen to them.
We decided that the best was to have a one-on-one man's talk between Tom and my boyfriend. It was hard to contact him, but we managed to get to him. Since I wasn't there, I will tell the version my boyfriend told me. For the surprise of no one, he was furious. More than 10 years was thrown out like garbage. He told us that he had already discussed divorce in the past due to marital issues, but it was paused after psychological counseling that they had been working on. They've been going to therapy for the last 4 months. However, this was the last drop. Many other things were said, but I guess it is not worth mentioning them. Hope they can figure it out, and I feel very relieved. We have a quick update. We hadn't told Jack's spouse yet because we wanted to give Tom the time to plan everything. Seems like he went straight home to confront Chris right away, and I'm not sure about those details. At the end of the night, Jack's wife contacted us. She was a bit aggressive with me, so my boyfriend decided to be the one to talk to her and asked her if they could have a phone talk. Jack's wife told us that he came clean and that at a party, Chris kissed him without him noticing.
Pull up the tape. Pull up the
We're
tape.
gonna pull up the recording. We unfortunately were the ones who had to tell her the whole truth. She was obviously devastated and we offered her the videos. And she said she would love to have them since they would be very useful in court to fight for her 2 children. We mentioned to her that in the past, Jack told us that one of the reasons he was cheating on her was because she was also cheating on him. And you know what? We'll never cheat on you. When we go live, 3 p.m. PST on weekdays, we go live on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Facebook. Just tap her profile.
Tap it.
She was shocked to hear it, and she mentioned that it was a complete lie, that she could never do that.
Okay.
So Jax is just the worst a-hole on the planet. Okay.
This whole friend group sucks, man.
Yeah.
Everyone in that friend group sucks.
And mentioned that even if I ever wanted to, which I never did, how could I cheat on him since I'm always in my house alone with my children with no friends or family? She told us that she was planning flying back to our country. Jack's family lives in the US as soon as possible. Chris also contacted us and it didn't go so well. She asked us to stay out of her life and to stop messaging Tom. Conversation went in circles, so we stopped replying. And that's the end of that story.
Thank goodness.
Dude.
Thank goodness you had the heart to do something about this.
I want a tier list here of who is the worst of the worst. So we got
cheaters up top.
Jack, Chris, OP's boyfriend. I was gonna say Jack's wife, but Jack's wife is now innocent.
Innocent. So Tom
is a saint.
And Jack's wife, innocent.
Unfortunately,
And then
OP and your boyfriend are not innocent in this.
S tier, the cheaters. A tier, OP and OP's boyfriend.
Jack, you're the worst person. Jack is to the word cloud.
But that's the end of that story.
Yeah, thank God.
We got another one coming right at you.
My cousin caught his bride cheating at their wedding reception.
Just couldn't wait, could you?
This is something that happened around 2016. I was 16 and didn't know about all of this stuff until much later, and I feel like people need to hear it.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes. Please tell us. I grew up with a huge family on my mom's side, and they're all Catholics and Christians, which isn't an issue, except a majority of some of the ones states away are very much the stereotype of Catholics and Christians of hating the LGBTQ and for some reason having a weird concept of cousins getting it on. That is a story for another time, though. By the way, this comes from user FearFactory007 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. The one who was getting married was one of my cousins, 29 male at the time, who I honestly didn't know much of before this, since me and him were very different growing up, and his girlfriend of 3 years, 27 female at the time, who I only knew her first name, and that was it. That traveled to my state for their wedding, since where I live is known for its nice weather, even though I personally dislike it being a very pale person. And it was held at a venue near a beach hotel that had these floor fire pits by the pool. I, much like a lot of the women in my family, was helping out as much as I could with the bride. I went to the parking lot by myself in the heat to get the flowers after she left them there. My mom fixed the veil since it had a minor stitch, and my aunt was being that sweet pep talker you need on this stressful but memorable day. Well, the wedding starts and we watch it happen. It was nice, but the vows were awkward as the groom was pretty much spilling his guts out, while the bride was pretty simple and almost generic, not at all original. My sister and I chilled by the place to eat while we wait for the reception to start. This is when the maid of honor stumbled in. I noticed she was sickly pale and swaying and was about to fall into the little man-made lake that was made for aesthetic decor. So me and my sister, who was 8 at the time, helped her out. Maid of honor just flopped herself down, stomach on the pavement right by us. Now, I knew I couldn't let my sister wander around for an adult, and I can't just leave her alone while I go look. And I didn't have a phone at this time, so we just kind of stuck standing/sitting beside her while the poor 14-year-old waiter, who you can tell was not ready for this level of responsibility, was giving us water and a rejected fries basket from a table, to which the maid of honor ate without moving. Thankfully, my dad and uncle came by to get us, saw the scene, and helped the maid of honor up, and we all went to the reception for like 2 hours before my mom took us home, which I was happy about since I was all out of energy and I was getting sick and tired of the strong smells and bright lights. Well, as it turned out, the bride made the maid of honor and her other bridesmaids drink right after the wedding part to make it more fun. And the maid of honor was trying to find the bathroom. When I helped her not fall in the water, apparently her body did a thing in which she pulled a muscle in her back, which left her a brief moment of paralysis. Adding to that, another thing that makes the human body scary. Yeah, that's scary. Just
that is very scary.
Low-key temporary paralysis. No one expects temporary paralysis to strike.
Yeah.
All of that was what I was informed about a year later. But from what I learned earlier this week, things were a lot more crazy than I imagined. Let me start simple.
Okay.
First of all, the bride. Apparently, to others, the bride was off throughout the entire week before the wedding happened. She was excited for all the planning of the wedding and reception, but was not so keen on planning the after of the whole wedding. The groom noticed the stress and constantly tried reassuring her about any fears that she has, even saying that they don't have to get married if she feels like they're moving too fast.
Yeah, so she was okay with that, but afterwards she's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah, it was like she loved the fanfare going around the wedding planning, but once the reality of marriage started to hit her, I think she was starting to get freaked out.
I see.
Yeah. She brushed him off and the wedding went on. Well, according to my mom, she sent me to get the flowers even though one of her bridesmaids offered to get it instead, and overheard her say some weird stuff regarding my figure being like a cigarette, skinny, short, and she must be nice to taste but full of toxins. She heard her say this when she came back with the veil, and she wasn't aware it was about me until before we left. Anyway, never heard or met her before then. Was always nice to her, and also I was 16. Why she apparently didn't like me was beyond anyone. My mom thinks she was just jealous since I got along with one of my cousins who was visiting for the wedding, but why would she be jealous over that? I personally think she was just mean.
But that's what people do when they like you, they're mean to you.
While the reception was starting, the bride snuck off to smoke, leaving the groom to help with the last-minute touches of the party. About 20 minutes go by and she hasn't come back in. Groom got curious and left to check on her. Well, I assumed when I heard this, she was caught cheating. Which she was, but it was so much worse than I imagined. Apparently, to my uncle who was there most of the time, the groom went outside and caught the bride making out and grinding against not just a guy, but his 21-year-old brother.
Oh my gosh, that's their cousin. I was not expecting that.
Do not kiss your cousin on the mouth that hard. Come on, man.
Or grind on them.
Yeah, or grind on them. Come on. I don't know when this was happening, but apparently they had a friends with benefits relationship since the groom and bride were dating. Yeah, the bride and groom were dating for 3 years. This was happening since he was 8. This was obviously very upsetting, but I guess the groom forgave her because the reception started without any other issues. Bro, what do you mean? Did the groom even know? I feel like if the groom knows, the wedding is off immediately.
He probably like, oh, that's all right.
He's like, he said, she's making out with who?
Oh,
She's making out with her cousin?
shit.
You mean my brother?
Shit.
No, I think on a real level, if I find out my wife is making out with my brother on our wedding day, I think the wedding's getting called off.
Yeah, and someone's gonna get something to the face.
Yeah, my brother is gonna get my fist in his mouth. And the fire. All right, there's a fire.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot about the fire.
There's a fire involved here. Well, that was the brother's fault. This is where some parts of the story were blank since no one else was in the room when it happened. And he refuses to speak about it to this day. But from what we can all agree happened is brother of the groom and bride were caught and she left him alone to go to the reception. He wandered to the hotel's outdoor lounge area where those floor fire pits were at and smoked as the reception started. Now, I know things are different there and here, but a lot of places with this kind of fire pits have one rule: no smoking when the gas is on. Well, you guessed it. The pits were on since it was getting dark and the cigarette nearly blew up in his face. Luckily, he somehow wasn't burnt badly or injured from that, but he did drop the cigarette, which I imagine was a dang ball of fire now, into the fire pit, which triggered one of the outdoor curtains to catch fire. Me leaving 2 hours in was my parents being alerted by staff about the fire. From what I know about the aftermath, groom's brother paid for the damages to the hotel and venue and severely apologized to the groom, and groom and bride divorced.
Nice.
Well, thank God. I mean, honestly, I was hoping it would end in, and please tell me that they did not get married.
And their marriage went up in flames too.
It went up in smoke.
Golly.
But you know what's never going to go up in smoke?
What's that?
Y'all joining us when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. All you got to do is tap our profile.
Tippity tap tap.
Thoughts collected. Thank God that they are not getting married because your wife has been cheating on you with your brother for 3 years. And she started doing it when he was 18, which is gross.
Ew.
Gross. Thoughts at the end of this are as follows. 1, thank God you did not marry that woman who was cheating on you with your own brother. 2, you need to fight your brother. Like, you need to have a throwdown to make things right with your brother. 3, OP. I love that OP's perspective on this was just like, hey, I had no idea what was happening until later. And I was like, yeah, okay, I need to tell this story because this is crazy. It's like, and then the brother ended up lighting the hotel on fire. Yeah.
What?
After making out with the bride-to-be.
Thank you for telling this. Yeah. We really appreciate it.
Thank God you immediately recognized, oh, the internet needs to hear about this.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, the groom and the groom's brother weren't the only guys in her life. So groom naturally divorced her, which she didn't put much of a fuss on. Pause though. Are you implying that if it was just his brother, he wouldn't have divorced her? There were other guys in her life too, so groom naturally divorced her. You would naturally divorce her no matter what when you find out your brother's making out with her on your wedding day. What? That's a wild ass implication. Anyway, I honestly think that she wasn't getting cold feet, but was just wanting to have a wedding, but had no love for anyone but herself. Nowadays, I hear the groom is remarried with a girl who's sweet, and they have 2 kids together. The groom's brother moved overseas and stayed after marrying a girl he met there, and no one knows what happened to the bride. She just disappeared one day. No one knows where she went. I still can't believe people hid this from me, but I guess they knew if I was aware there was a fire, then I may accidentally make things worse since I have anxiety and freeze in any scary incident. So I don't blame them for hiding it. And that is the end of that story.
Oh my gosh.
The fire really not even that important compared to the groom's brother making out with the wife, but the fire is just a nice little cherry on top. That is the end of that story, which means it is the end of this episode.
Yes.
So,
if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and see you tomorrow.